Miami has won the toss and they will defer. So Jacksonville will start with the football. It is 87 degrees here in Jacksonville. A beautiful day after what was a week full of rain, but it's even warmer down on the field. Close to 100 degrees on the field as Andrew Franks is set to kick it away for the Dolphins. Back deep for the Jaguars, Corey Grant. Miami has won the last 3 meetings between the Dolphins and the Jags, and we're underway here from Jacksonville. Grant out of his own end zone. And he is tackled at the 17-yard line. That'll bring out Blake Bortles. This is his 16th career game. Last week against Carolina, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but sacked 5 times, and that's been a common theme for Bortles in his young career. Will he get the protection today to have some time, run the football? As we pointed out already, Luke Joeckel is inactive today.
And the guy to keep an eye on is left tackle Sam Young, the 6-year pro out of Notre Dame. A lot of pressure facing the edge rushers of the Dolphins, Cameron Wake and Olivier Vernon.
On 1st and 10, it's the rookie TJ Yeldon, and he gets to the 20-yard line for a gain of 3 as we take a look at the starting offense for Jacksonville. And as Steve Berline mentioned, Sam Young starts at left tackle today, his 3rd season with the Jaguars, and we just saw him, the rookie TJ Yeldon.
TJ Yeldon really been a pleasant surprise. Not really a surprise. 2nd-round draft choice out of Alabama. Had a good, strong first game, rushing for over 50 yards last week in the opener for the Jags.
Tough night for Yeldon with his Alabama team losing to Ole Miss. 2nd and 8. Bortles' first pass to Marquise Lee. And he is out of bounds right at the marker for a 1st down. First catch of the season for Marquise Lee, who was inactive last week. As we look at the Miami defense, Cameron Wake was questionable today, but he's able to go despite a sore hamstring. At linebacker, Kelvin Shepard will rotate snaps in the middle with Zach Vigil. And Miami defensively, Grimes and McCain in the corner, Steve Tasker.
Yeah, those 2 guys both have pick 6s on Blake Bortles. Of course, Grimes with the Dolphins, Bryce McCain with the Steelers last year.
Yeldon, his 2nd carry, and not much to him. That is a big focal point for Miami today, that run defense. They allowed 161 yards rushing last week in Washington.
It was hard to imagine another team in the NFL having as much venom after they won on opening day as the Dolphins did. Very high expectations, and they just didn't feel like they played well. But you and I were talking about this, Steve Berline. It says a lot about a team's potential when they win, when they're not playing their best.
Jacksonville has lost 10 straight September games, trying to break the streak here today against Miami. Yeldon trying to get to the outside, not much doing there. Rashad Jones coming up to make the tackle on TJ Yeldon, the 36th pick in the NFL draft this year, the highest the Jags have drafted a running back since Fred Taylor back in 1998, won a title with Alabama, and last week had 12 carries for 51 yards. 3rd down and 7 for Jacksonville. They were 3 of 12 on 3rd downs a week ago. Bortles, incomplete, but there's a flag down. And it could be offsides against Miami. John Parry is our referee today.
Yeah, it's going to be Vernon off the top of the screen, right side of the Miami defense.
Defense, number 93, 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
Well, they called it on Ndamukong Suh, but I think you see that it was off the edge. I think it was number 50, Olivier Vernon, that jumped the gun off the outside. You'll see top of the screen. There he goes, jumping. That's Vernon.
Yeah, that was an easy call, and it's interesting after that, there was also, it looked to me like a pass interference down the field, and the play was already actually trying to be blown dead before that penalty happened.
So 3rd and 7 turns into 3rd and 2. Just underway here in the 1st quarter. Bortles to Hearns. He's got the 1st down and more. Allen Hearns into Miami territory for a gain of 16.
Well, this is how close it is in the NFL. The ball has got to be out on time and on the money. If this ball isn't thrown perfectly by Blake Bortles, it was tipped as well off the top there. But if it was not able to get to Hearns right on time. That ball could have been another pick six for the Miami Dolphins on Blake Bortles.
It's the same throw he made last week that did get taken back for a touchdown. That quick throw, your quarterback has to release it pretty quick. And it's a good thing that Bortles put some pepper on that.
Cameron Wake got a piece of that, but they still complete it. Bortles with time, looking deep for Robinson, and the catch is made at the 11-yard line by Allen Robinson. A gain of 36.
Well, Bortles was affected by the pass rush, was not able to get the ball out in front of Robinson like he wanted to, but I think it was actually a blessing, because this ball, if it hadn't been thrown out in front, you can see the safety coming over the top. That was going to be Walt Aikens. He would have made a play on that ball, but Allen Robinson did a great job. You see the pressure coming on Bortles. Robinson really did a great job of high pointing that ball and bringing it down for a big play.
Bortles has started 3 for 3. It's 1st and 10 from the 11. Yeldon trying to get to the outside at the 5, and the tackle is made by Michael Thomas.
Well, if this is exactly what you want to do in the red zone. If you've got a running back that you can make significant yardage in the run game, you force the Dolphins to pack the box with a lot of guys. They're going to have 8-9 guys in the box, and this is a perfect spot for a play-action pass.
And this is where you're missing the key free agent acquisition for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Julius Thomas, the tight end, they really miss him in these situations.
Still out with a hand injury. 2nd and 4. Yeldon again. Yeldon to the goal line. And he's in for a touchdown. The first touchdown of T.J. Yeldon's career. And it's 6-0 Jacksonville.
An impressive first drive for Jacksonville, getting a first down inside the 10-yard line and then just handing it off twice right into the teeth of the Miami defense. Runs right up the gut. Sam Young doing a nice job on the outside, the reserve left tackle.
Let's look at this right knee and see if that knee was down before he crossed the plane. They're going to...
It'll automatically be reviewed upstairs.
Every scoring play, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to come up a hair short perhaps if they can piece that together. We'll see if the ball was across the plane when his knee hit.
After review, the runner's knee was down prior to the score. It'll be 1st and goal on the left hash, and the game clock will start on the ready for play.
So they take the touchdown off the board by Yeldon as we take another look at it, and you can clearly see.
There's the knee, and the ball is right up there, so it is significantly short. They got that right on replay, and we suspected it when we saw it in replay from this angle, and of course they got it right.
However, they do get a fresh set of downs. That run was good enough for a first down, so it's 1st and goal from the 1. Defensive lineman Tyson Alu in as the fullback here. They give it to Yeldon, and he is stuffed. Rashad Jones, who had a big game last week against Washington, comes up to make the tackle.
Well, the defense completely sold out on this play. We'll watch. It's going to come from the top right there. He's going to come off the top. He was totally had if Blake Bortles bootlegs that out to the left. But the Dolphins didn't believe they were going to do that. Totally sold out on an up-the-gut run, and it paid off.
This is the situation where you probably want to look to one of your big targets. The biggest threat that Jacksonville has is number 89, the tight end, Mercedes Lewis, lined up on the bottom, the third in from the bottom of your picture.
Bortles to Robinson. And he is in for a touchdown. Allen Robinson with his first touchdown of the season.
That's a great concept for a play. Steve Berline, you saw it right here. They got 3 tight ends, and they got a lot of attention, a lot of defenders there, which leaves Robinson all by himself, one-on-one alone, and Bortles guns it in for the touchdown. That's a great setup, and you could foreshadow the play by the overload on the right and the quick throw to the left.
First time in 8 games, the Jaguars have scored a touchdown on their opening drive. And now here's Jason Myers for the extra point. He did miss an extra point last week. This one is good. Blake Bortles 4 for 4 on that opening drive, capped off by the touchdown to Robinson. It's 7-0 Jacksonville. Back in Jacksonville, good start for the Jaguars. They march right down the field and score on their opening drive to take a 7-0 lead. Jason Myers to kick it away. One of two Marist football players in this game. First time that's ever happened to have two red foxes in an NFL game. Myers for Jacksonville and Terrence Fede of the Dolphins as we go back to that last touchdown.
Well, let's look at it. We talked about the three tight ends at the bottom of the screen here. What that does, it puts a lot of pressure on the safety. The Dolphins have got to focus on run this way, all the way. What that does, it leaves one-on-one coverage on the backside for a slant route with Allen Robinson on a corner, singled up. The safety can't get over the top to help. That's all the window they need in the NFL to stick that ball in there. Good job by Blake Bortles. Even though that ball was tipped, he got it in there.
So the first drive for the Dolphins will start at the 20, 1st and 10 for Ryan Tannehill. Out of the shotgun. Looks to throw on first down. Deep down the middle, it's tipped and caught! Matthews is brought down inside Jacksonville territory. Off the deflection, a gain of 48.
You know, watch, this is going to be very good coverage right there by Sergio Brown. He gets a piece of it, and he can't believe that ball got completed over the top. Tannehill hits the nice throw down the seam, but Sergio Brown gets up and gets a piece of it and actually probably helped him to keep his stride going down the football field. What a lucky play for the Dolphins on a good throw from Tannehill.
Longest play of the season so far for Miami. That pass is caught by Kenny Stills for a short gain. We take a look at the Miami starting offense led by Ryan Tannehill, now in his 4th year out of Texas A&M, coming off career highs last year in touchdowns with 27. And there you look at his numbers from last week. And when we met with Ryan Tannehill and Joe Philbin last night, and their keys for the game was to get off to a good start. Remember, they fell behind 10-0 last week at Washington. Let's see if they can answer here against Jacksonville. Lamar Miller with his first carry, and he is wrestled down. Tyson Alu getting back there for Jacksonville as we look at the Miami starting offensive line, anchored by Mike Pouncey at center, now in his 5th year out of Florida. And Jarvis Landry off to a great start, had that big punt return touchdown last week.
And that was the deciding factor, in the ball game for Jarvis Landry. Returned that touchdown, like you said, Andrew, 65 yards. That was the difference in the ball game.
3rd down and 8. Tannehill over the middle, and it's dropped. Greg Jennings had it for a first down, and he fell to the ground, and it will be 4th down for Miami.
Yeah, this ball comes right into his stomach. He reaches down low. Great shot right through the window by Tannehill. You got to pull that in.
Oh, no doubt about it, Steve. That Greg Jennings has got to come down with that ball. Ryan Tannehill, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL the last couple years, put that ball exactly where he needed to put it. Greg Jennings, he's paid too much money to drop that pass.
Here's the rookie kicker, Andrew Franks, out of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute from 48 yards away, and it is good. Joe Philbin likes his rookie kicker and punter, and Franks delivers here to put the Dolphins on the board. Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now. There are a lot of Dolphins fans here in Jacksonville. They were waiting at the team hotel when the team arrived last night, and Andrew Franks has put Miami on the board with a 48-yard field goal. 7:16 to go in the first quarter. Franks to kick it away to Corey Grant. And a touchback by the rookie kicker. So drive number 2 for Blake Bortles and the Jaguars offense. They look great to start the game.
Well, it all started with the long throw down the field. Bortles climbing the pocket. Robinson goes up and high points the ball, sets up Yeldon to get it down close. What was an overturned touchdown, and then the gun pass actually got tipped by C.J. Mosley. Still had enough velocity to get into the end zone. Very impressive first drive for a team that is not known for fast starts.
And we mentioned that stat before. First time since Dallas last year they scored a touchdown on their opening drive. Denard Robinson in at running back to start this series. And he gets the call on first down. Robinson across the 25 and tripped up at the 28-yard line. Koa Nisi came over to make the stop after a gain of 9.
And we talked in the open about the fact that Miami had very little success stopping the running game of the Dolphins, of the Redskins last week. But here today again, maybe the early part of the game, the first drive, the Dolphins defense was standing up playing a very aggressive form of football. But the later part of that first drive and right here to start the second drive, it looks like Jacksonville feels pretty good about running that football straight at him.
Robinson shaking up a little bit. He's on the sideline. Yeldon back in the ball game, and Yeldon is spun for a loss. Nisi again getting in the backfield. Jelani Jenkins also on the tackle. It'll be third down.
Yeah, you'll see they're starting to bring some people right off. Yeah, this is the safety right there. Aikens coming right off the edge, and that's a way to stop the run. If you're going to come off the edge with some defensive backs, you're going to be able to stop the run once in a while, but it leaves you vulnerable in the back end.
But you know what? That's exactly right, Steve, because when you start committing more guys to stop the run because you don't feel like you can stop them, you're given opportunity in the passing game. That's what Blake Bortles and company are going to have to do.
Third down and 1. Once again, the defensive lineman Alu in at fullback. It's a play action. Bortles to the fullback. Alu's got a first down. And he's also got his first career catch.
That's a big moment. It's like high school days. Hey, go playing both ways. We saw Alu make a block and a tackle.
There he is right there. He's just going to go straight to the flat. A great creative play by new offensive coordinator Greg Olsen. Did you see the agility
of the
big man to avoid the contact? Coming out to the flat, super play.
He knows what a swim move looks like from rushing the passer, and he used it right there to get past a defender.
So the Jaguars get creative, and they pick up the first down. Bortles now taking a deep shot, looking down the sideline. And that pass is caught. Allen Robinson again. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
And this is going to go against the Dolphins.
Base, defense, number 78. Penalties declined. Resulting play, first down.
A 54-yard gain for Allen Robinson.
Well, Robinson is the guy. When Gus Bradley talks about him, when Blake Bortles talks about him, it doesn't even look like he's expecting the ball there right away, but he's the guy that they've kind of tapped as their big play guy to this point in his young career. Second year in the league. He's a guy that obviously knows how to get up after the football and high point it. 2 huge plays today.
He's 6'3", and Greg Olsen, the offensive coordinator, told us he has a 42-inch vertical, so why not throw it up to Allen Robinson? He makes the grab, and it's 1st and 10. The Jags back in the red zone. Yeldon, stepping his way to the 10.
We spoke to Gus Bradley on Friday. He told us as well, Allen Robinson's a guy we expect to have a breakout season. I mean, and we see it sometimes where a guy will have a great rookie season and then take a step backward, but a lot of times it works the other way. A guy kind of feels his way through his first year, and then after he's been around the block once, you feel comfortable in the offense. They know more of what he is, and they start giving him opportunities early. Look for Gus Bradley to do that a lot more with Allen Robinson.
Bortles has started 6 for 6. Make it 7 for 7 to Rashad Green. And he is wrapped up by Brent Grimes.
Very well read by the Dolphins defense right there. Good reaction to the quick screen on the outside. And there's Ndamukong Suh. When he sat down with us yesterday, you could see the frustration and the accountability factor very high on him for the performance last week of this defensive front. He said, we are better than this. I am better than this. Need to play a lot better.
Big play here for the Miami defense. It's 3rd and 2. Corey Grant in at running back for Jacksonville. Bortles, end zone to Lewis, incomplete. Overthrown, and it brings up 4th down.
And Ndamukong Suh is really the focal point of the expectations for this Dolphin defense. They paid him a lot of money. A lot of attention was given to the organization for shelling out that kind of money. Stefan Wisniewski does a nice job there. Of course, that's a quick pass. But there's a guy that's going to have a lot of pressure and a lot of scrutiny this year on him because of the money he's made and because of the success he's had in the past.
Only made 2 tackles last week against the Redskins. It's 4th and 2, so Jason Myers on for a 27-yard field goal, and that's good. 2 drives for Jacksonville. They've scored 10 points. That's more points than they had the entire game last week against Carolina when they were held to 9. It's 10-3 in favor of the Jaguars. Last week, the Jaguars had 12 drives on offense. They only scored twice. Today, 2 drives, 2 scores. The last one, a 27-yard field goal by Jason Myers, who kicks this one away to one of the newest Dolphins, Raheem Mostert. And just signed off the Eagles practice squad. Mostert will take this one out across the 20, still going up to the 24-yard line. That is where Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins offense will come back out. They trail 10-3. .3:15 to go in the opening quarter. Drive number 2 for the Dolphins. They trail 10-3 with Steve Berline and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalan. Week 2 of the NFL on CBS. Tannehill's pass is caught by Landry for a gain of 2. And let's take a look at that Jaguars starting defense. Jared Odrick going against his former team today. Spent the first 5 years of his career with Miami. Dan Skuta, one of the new additions at linebacker this year for the Jaguars, and a big change in the secondary as rookie James Sample starts at strong safety for the injured Jonathan Cyprien.
Yeah, the 4th-round draft choice out of Louisville, getting his first opportunity.
Lamar Miller trying to get to the outside, and really interesting story about Sample. He was drafted as a free safety, and Gus Bradley earlier this week on Tuesday night, when he saw that Cyprien probably wouldn't be able to go, he brought Sample into his office and said, hey, we're going to make you a strong safety this week. You have 3 days to get ready. So this is not his natural position. Let's see how he holds up today.
But in this day and age, though, Andrew, there's so much rotation of the safeties that it's just a matter of being in the right position for the calls. These safeties, they have to be interchangeable in today's NFL.
3rd down and 8. Tannehill with time, looking deep, and he overthrows Greg Jennings, who was wide open.
It looks like Devon House went down with he's right up the top. Watch this as this takes place. House is going to get left behind because it looks like he slips, or right there House goes down and he can't get up.
But there's no excuse, though. Last week, we saw Ryan Tannehill miss a couple of open receivers, wide open. He's a very accurate passer, but down the field, his accuracy and success rate very low. That is a pass, even under a little bit of pressure. He's got to complete that ball.
Rashad Green fields the punt at the 21-yard line. And he's out of bounds at the 29. Your weekend starts with Kirk Cousins and the Redskins in a rumble among rivals with Eli Manning and the Giants. It's all here on Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. And already today, Washington with a big win over St. Louis, while the Giants lost at home to the Falcons to fall to 0-2. As you see a closer look at that matchup Thursday night at MetLife Stadium.
You talk about going down the field. Blake Bortles has been able to do that. One of the problems with these quarterbacks, even if they are an accurate passer like Tannehill, you got to release the football so early. The receiver has to be on the same page as the quarterback. On that last play, there's no way that they were on the same page. Tannehill threw that way deep. There wasn't even close.
Marquise Lee to the 30. Marquise Lee across the 35, and he's got a first down. Marquise Lee practiced Wednesday for the first time in 6 weeks. He's been sidelined by a right hamstring injury the entire summer. Finally got him back in the mix, and Greg Olsen, the offensive coordinator, told us to expect about 12 to 15 plays today for Marquise Lee.
And Greg Olsen also told us, he said, I really don't know what this guy can do. He's only been on the field 4 or 5 times since Greg Olsen got the job last spring. So he's a guy that needs to get the reps in this offense. They're excited that he's back, at least for a little bit today.
Also missed all of OTAs and minicamp with a knee injury. 1st and 10, Yeldon. Does a great job of waiting for his blocks to set up. Meanwhile, Denard Robinson, questionable to return. He's got a knee injury.
Let's look at what Ndamukong Suh has done so far today. Number 93 right there. Not much of a factor yet, and what's surprising is that Jacksonville is not, at this point at least, they're not respecting him enough to put a double team on him. It's one-on-one pretty much, pass blocking and run blocking. That's the kind of thing that Ndamukong Suh normally is licking his chops about.
Bortles to Yeldon. And Yeldon out of bounds at the 47-yard line, forced out by Jenkins. TJ Yeldon only averaged 15 catches a year at Alabama, and we asked him Friday, why didn't you catch the ball more out of the backfield? He goes, guys, we had a guy named Amari Cooper. He was pretty good. They didn't want to throw it to me. They wanted to throw it to Cooper. That will be the final play of the first quarter. It will be third down when we come back. Jacksonville has a 10-3 lead on Miami. We'll be back after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 50. Tuesday, it's a matchup you don't want to miss. Stephen Colbert goes one-on-one with Donald Trump this Tuesday on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Start of the second quarter here in Jacksonville. Jaguars have a 10-3 lead, but they're faced with 3rd and 3 to open up this second quarter. Jacksonville 2 for 3 on third down so far. Bortles out of the shotgun. Low snap. He fields it. Steps up in trouble and just tosses it up. Incomplete. There is a flag down.
Holding, offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty, replay, correction. Penalties decline, 4th down.
Yeah, Miami will decline that because of the incompletion, so it'll force the Jaguars to punt after the holding on Wisniewski.
Miami got some good pressure early right there. You see coming up the gut. There was a lot of pressure across the board. Earl Mitchell, Koamisi coming there. Blake Bortles wanted to get that ball out quick to the right side to Allen Robinson, but could not deliver it before the pressure got to him.
So Brian Anger will punt for the first time today for Jacksonville, and Jarvis Landry is back deep for the Dolphins. This is not a good punt by Anger. High kick, bounces at the 22, and Landry stays away from it. Replay every game of the 2015 season on demand with NFL Game Pass. Go to NFL.com/Game Pass to start your free trial.
You think about how this game has gone early for the Dolphins. Their first drive was killed by a drop. And there's, you see, Jacksonville's got 8 first down. Miami only has 7 plays. That's how lopsided the time of possession is.
That was a big issue last week in the Redskins game in the first half as well. The Dolphins did not have many plays, only a little over 54 plays on the game.
They'll run it on first with Lamar Miller. And he pushes the pile up to the 24-yard line.
Well, we spoke to Joe Philbin yesterday. He said that's one of the key things about our team. We've got to start getting off to better starts. They didn't do it last week. And the last time they played Jacksonville jumped out to a major lead then as well.
We did that game last year.
That's right, and his team has struggled with that. And I think that if there's a personality trait that the team has under Joe Philbin, inconsistency has to be a part of that profile.
On 2nd and 6, Jaguars bringing pressure. Tannehill finds Devontae Parker for his first NFL catch. Only played 1 snap last week. The rookie out of Louisville, still recovering from foot surgery in the spring, but Joe Philbin told us he had his best week of practice this week.
Ryan Tannehill right there, looking pressure right in the eye. Telvin Smith and Paul Postlesny coming. Ryan Tannehill under pressure last year was the 5th-ranked quarterback in the NFL as far as ranking is concerned. There you see Devontae Parker, rookie they have high hopes for. Last week he only played 1 snap against the Redskins. We were told he'd be a big part of the plan today.
3rd down and 3. Tannehill's pass is caught. What a grab by Landry. He's becoming his go-to guy, and the gain of 18 gives Miami a first down.
Well, this is why you're successful, and this is also why you're not successful. Landry makes the play. I mean, this is a play. They had drops last week. They had all kinds of problems. One-handing it, working. His best buddy is Odell Beckham Jr. Those two have a thing going with one-handed grabs, and that was a beauty.
Injured Dolphin is Brandon Albert, the training staff out to attend to Miami's left tackle. Tonight, Week 2 continues with Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tomorrow with Monday Night Football on ESPN. Then Week 3 kicks off with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Brandon Albert on the Miami sideline. He had an ACL and MCL tear last year. Only played 9 games, was working his way back in, but they're looking at his right hand right now. So coming into play left tackle is Jason Fox for Miami, number 74. Following the catch, it's 1st and 10 for the Dolphins. Tannehill keeps it. He can run it. Puts it down across midfield and out of bounds at the Jacksonville 47-yard line. A gain of 8 for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, and that's pretty crucial with Brandon Albert out of the game. The Miami Dolphins deactivated Billy Turner and Jeff Linkenbach today. They only got 7 healthy linemen, now 6. With Fox in the game, McClendon is the only other offensive lineman they've got to go in. So it's a roll of the dice that every team makes every game. They've got to pick the guys they think are going to help them win the game if everybody stays healthy. But injuries could really throw a wrench into what the Dolphins are going to do offensively.
They're also without their second tight end, Deion Sims, who's out today with a concussion. Tannehill wanted to go deep, nobody home. Alualu chases, and the pass is incomplete. Good pressure by Tyson Alualu of the Jaguars.
Well, Tannehill, we saw him looking down the field, wanted to take a shot on a double move there. It wasn't going to be there anyway. The protection was solid. Tannehill would have had time to make that throw. Wisely made a decision to try and tuck it and see what he could pick up or throw it away. He threw it away. They're still facing 3rd and short as a result.
3rd down and 2. Landry goes behind Tannehill. Tannehill over the middle, and it's caught by his tight end. Jordan Cameron with the first down grab. A gain of 17 for the Dolphins, and they're on the move here early in the 2nd quarter.
Well, Jordan Cameron, a big free agent acquisition this offseason. 4 catches for 73 yards last week. Very, very talented tight end. I think a great move to bring him into the fold by the Dolphins. A difference maker. Very well-designed play. Throw and catch to pick up another first down.
Miami now 2 for 2 on this drive, converting 3rd downs. They've moved the ball down to the Jacksonville 29-yard line. Tannehill wants to keep it in the air. He's hit by his former teammate Odrick, but still is able to complete the pass on the left side. Odrick was coming. Damian Williams, though, was able to pick up a couple.
Yeah, you're going to see coming off the end, Odrick comes in right around the left tackle, and this is where we saw the injury coming right here. And you see the big guy, it just gets caught flat-footed. He just can't hang in there. Brandon Albert, you don't know how bad he's hurt, but he's back in the game, and obviously he's not 100% right there.
Yeah, you don't want your quarterback taking too many shots like that with a full head of steam.
Williams. He gets across the 25-yard line. It'll be another 3rd and short for Miami. They've already had 2 of them on this drive.
Now you go back to that. Odrick would be one guy who knows how to rush Brandon Albert. Odrick, a 1st-round draft pick of the Miami Dolphins, was there for the first 4 years, as you said. And, you know, he knows these guys pretty darn well. And if there's anybody who has some subtle moves and knows where to strike, it would be Odrick against this offensive line, and he got it done on that last play.
He said he told some of his teammates about the tendencies of Miami's offensive linemen to help them out for the game today. Obviously, he practiced against them for 5 years. On 3rd down, Tannehill pump fakes hit. Ball comes out. It's loose on the ground. Puz Lusney has it, but they're saying it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's the right call. Tannehill was definitely trying to throw that football, and it spiked into the ground as he got hit from behind. If his hand comes forward at all with the ball in it, it's a pass.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
Ryan Davis with a big hit on Tannehill, who took a couple of pops on this drive.
Now they'll look at this because it's a turnover. It'll be automatically reviewed, of course.
No, it's not a turnover.
Oh, it's not. Oh, that's right. Correct.
So it's
yeah,
fourth down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's
Gus Bradley doesn't challenge, and it's
and it shouldn't challenge that. That's a pretty easy call.
A 42-yarder for Andrew Franks. Kick is on the way, and it's good. And Andrew Franks has made the first 3 field goal attempts of his career, 2 today, and it's 10-6 Jaguars. Back in Jacksonville, 350 miles north of Miami for this Sunshine State showdown between the Dolphins and Jaguars. Andrew Franks with a 41-yard field goal, his second of the day, and it's a 10-6 game with 10:08 to go in the first half. With Steve Tasker and Steve Berline, I'm Andrew Catalan. We thank you for joining us here on CBS, your home for Super Bowl 50. Corey Grant out of his own end zone. Flag is down from behind the play. Grant is tackled at the 16-yard line. Damian Williams in on the special team stop as we await John Perry's call.
I am not a big fan of running that ball out on a high-handed kick and 5 yards deep. I think it's a bad idea.
During the return, holding, number 53, return team. Half the distance, 1st and 10.
You're right.
Timeout on the field.
So Jacksonville will be backed up. Let's see what Ndamukong Suh and the Dolphins defense can do when we come back. Jacksonville, Gus Bradley and his wife Michaela host Hope to Dream Sleepover every year. It's for underprivileged kids. They're invited to Everbank Field for movie night and a sleepover in a bed from a local furniture store. The neat part is that the kids don't know until they arrive that the bed they sleep on that night will be delivered to their home the next day. For them to keep Gus Bradley having such a big part of this Jacksonville community. His team backed up to start this drive. 1st and 10. Bortles to Allen Robinson. Immediately tackled by Brent Grimes after a gain of 8.
Steve Tasker, we were talking about during the break. It's the little things. That decision to make it, to return the kick out of the end zone. Elaborate for a second on that.
Well, you get nothing by bringing it out. It's tough to get it out past the 20. The kick was a high-hanging thing. Plus, you give your team a chance to get a holding penalty. So you not only get just to the 16-yard line, then it's half the distance, and it puts your team in a hole. You want to get positive results out of every special teams play. At least get to a push. Big mistake to bring that kick out.
Yeldon is tackled for a loss. Jelani Jenkins comes up to make the tackle.
You see how big a thing little things make, a big effect little things have. You see here Jenkins just knifing through, coming up. That every play down in your own end is huge. The first play was a pretty good play for the Jacksonville Jaguars, brings up a 2nd and 5, but Jenkins knifing through, all of a sudden they're backed up, and they're going to end up, if they don't pick up this first down in their own end, they give the Dolphins good field position. It's just a huge mistake to start a drive.
3rd down and 5. Play clock at 3. Bortles feeling the pressure. Steps up. He's going to keep it. And he's got the first down and more. Blake Bortles still going. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A gain of 26.
Well, you're going to see Blake Bortles here. By the way, the number 4 rushing quarterback in the NFL going back to the beginning of last year. But look at what he sees in front of him is nothing but green grass out here. He's a guy that is not afraid to tuck it and go. Obviously, picks up a nice gain, getting them out of the hole. That's a huge play for the Jacksonville Jaguars offense.
Last year, he averaged 7.5 yards per carry. That led all quarterbacks. Big one there, all the way up to the 41-yard line. Grant on the carry as Denard Robinson is still on the sideline. We told you earlier he went out with a knee injury, so now Corey Grant is the backup with Robinson out. There is Denard Robinson. He only had 1 carry, but injured his knee on that play. He's questionable to return. Guys, last week, the Jaguars did not complete any passes to the tight ends. And again today, the tight ends without a catch. We'll see if they get him going here on this drive. 2nd and 9. It's the tight end, Harbor, in motion. They'll keep it on the ground with Yeldon and Rashad Jones again getting in the backfield. Derek Shelby also contributing to that tackle. It's third down.
Well, Rashad Jones was a real factor last week in the Washington game, and he continues to be this week. And this is the part of the thing we spoke about earlier. They're bringing safeties up to stop the run. Jones and Akins coming off the edges are getting in the backfield. Now, for the first time on this series, the Dolphins are starting to do a nice job in the run game of stuffing the middle, because both the Skins and now today the Jaguars are running between the tackles for their success, and that you just can't have that.
6 tackles already for Jones. It's third down and 9 for Jacksonville. Bortles, and there's the flag. Jenkins was covering the tight end Harbor. They got tripped up, and the flag comes in. It'll be pass interference against Jelani Jenkins.
It'll be interesting to see who this may have been down the field in the secondary as well, but it looked like obviously there was Jenkins. Now, Jenkins was trying to let up.
Yeah. Illegal contact, defense, number 22, 5-yard penalty. Automatic.
You're right, Steve Tasker. Is Jamar Taylor further back in the secondary. That got called for the illegal contact. And here's that play with Marquise Lee. You can do it within 5 yards, but after that, it's a penalty.
Yeah, it wasn't Jenkins down covering the tight end. It was Taylor, and right at the top of the route, you saw him lean in on the receiver and affect his route, and that's what the penalty was.
So an automatic first down for Jacksonville. Penalty bails him out. 6:40 to go in the first half. It's Grant with some room. Check it, Bernard Pierce on the carry. Another flag is down. First carry today for Bernard Pierce. First carry of the season for Bernard Pierce. Let's see if it stands.
Holding, offense for 61, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Second holding call today on the center Wisniewski.
Well, if Ndamukong Suh isn't making tackles, he's drawn holding penalties from Stefan Wisniewski.
Yeah, you're going to see right there, shooting the gap, Suh right there. Wisniewski up on the second level is where the holding call was right there. You see Ndamukong Suh was cut at the line of scrimmage, and the holding was up on the linebacker on the second level. No doubt about it, Stefan Wisniewski made a nice tackle. He got called for it.
It's Yeldon. Gets to the outside. TJ Yeldon back into Miami territory. A gain of 12 for the rookie out of Alabama before Jones made his 7th tackle.
Well, this is what we saw him in college do. He gets into a tight spot, and he just seems to always find the path of least resistance when he's in traffic. He never seems to make a mistake with the ball in his hand. Gets every yard that's coming to him, and that's a rare quality. Great vision, great instinct, and in traffic, that's not as easy to do as it is out in open field.
Jacksonville already has 87 yards rushing against that Miami defense. Yeldon trying to add to it, and held to a minimal gain on the play. Terrence Bidet makes the tackle. It'll be third down, and now there's an injured Dolphin down on the field. And that is Ndamukong Suh. Miami training staff out on the field. We'll step aside and come back to Jacksonville right after this. The good news for Miami is that Ndamukong Suh is able to walk off under his own power, which is certainly a good sign. He's not in there for this third down and 5. C.J. Mosley takes his place in the middle with 5:25 to go in the second quarter. 9th play of the drive for Jacksonville. Browning bringing pressure. Bortles steps up, looking deep, wide open Robinson. He's got it. Touchdown Jaguars.
This is just a super job by the young quarterback, Blake Bortles. Miami showing pressure and coming with pressure up the gut. Vernon was coming hard off the edge. Bortles stood strong in the pocket, knew he was protected, and delivered a strike over the top against a squatting safety That's why Robinson was able to run past. You could see Bortles bought a little extra time moving in the pocket. He's big, he's strong, he's fearless. Right there, paid off for the Jags.
Credit to Sam Young, also the left tackle, stepping in for the injured Luke Jokel. Made a good tackle on that touchdown to Allen Robinson. A new career high today, 145 yards receiving for the second-year receiver Robinson. Allen Robinson had 2 touchdowns all of last year. He has 2 touchdowns in the first half today against the Dolphins, 17-6 in favor of the Jaguars, and Ndamukong Suh was not on the field for that last play because of this, the play before.
You see right here is Ndamukong Suh. He's working up the field against Wisniewski. Opens his hips to trying to get to Yeldon, and then the pile, along with Fede, all pile in on him, kind of hyperextend his knee. He was able to get up and walk off, and it looks as though he may continue in this game, but he was not able to get in on that third down.
We're still waiting for an official statement from the Dolphins on Suh. Meanwhile, Mostert on the kick return, and he's not going to get to the 20-yard line. Well, Gus Bradley said he thought his offense played too cautious last week in the loss to Carolina. Nothing cautious about this right here.
Well, right here is Allen Robinson. What you're going to see, the Dolphins are showing pressure on the inside. What Robinson's going to do, he's going to come up and give a double move that freezes the safety Akins, and he goes right over the top for the touchdown. Big play for the Jaguars. You see the safety sits, Akins right there sits, and it's over. And what a great job by Blake Bortles up over the top. Huge play for the Jaguars.
91-yard drive, longest for Jacksonville in a touchdown scoring drive since December of 2013 against the Colts. 1st and 10 for Tannehill and the Dolphins. Jordan Cameron has a first down up to the 36-yard line.
I really like this Jordan Cameron. 2 years ago, one of the top receiving tight ends in the league. Last year had some concussion problems in Cleveland. They decided that he was not worth the risk of signing him back. The Dolphins saw the value, and he's really starting to get comfortable with Ryan Tannehill in this offense.
Charles Clay left Miami, went to Buffalo. Cameron stepping in for Clay this season. 1st and 10. On the pitch, Lamar Miller, and he gets across the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the first half.
You know, we spoke about Joe Philbin and his team's inability to get a fast start. And let's face it, this is a team that had 2 road games to begin the season in Washington and now in Jacksonville. They got out of Washington with a win and didn't look very good doing it. Once again, they're in that boat here in Jacksonville. They need some players to make plays to pick their team up and give them a chance to get in this game mentally.
Lamar Miller out of the backfield makes the catch and forced out of bounds just short of midfield by Dan Skuta.
You know, we spoke about the inconsistencies that we've seen in the Dolphins under Joe Philbin. I mean, sometimes they look like the 72 Dolphins. Sometimes they look like the 08 Lions. I mean, there's just a roller coaster of a ride. Sometimes they look so good, it's like, wow, who's going to stop them? And then they end up stopping themselves consistently in other games.
Well, in our conversation with Joe Philbin yesterday, it came across very clear, the expectations, and he was driving it to his team all offseason, through the preseason, is to championship is what their goal is.
3rd down and 2. Jaguars bringing pressure. Tannehill in trouble. Flag is down. Tannehill on the run to Cameron. He's got it at the 29-yard line. Well, let's see what the penalty is. Aaron Colvin on the coverage.
This is going to be an illegal blow to the head of Ryan Tannehill, I believe.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. 15-yard penalty will be added with the end of the run.
You'll see that
1st down.
They took a swipe at him on the way by.
He pulled off after the fact. We'll see who it was right there. Can't do that.
Dan Skuta called for the penalty.
And a great job by Tannehill of continuing the play. What a great athlete a lot of these quarterbacks are these days, to make that throw down the field, seeing the big target. Cameron going up for a nice catch and a big gain, plus the 15-yard personal foul at the end of it.
Yeah, a quarterback that can do what Tannehill just did is just so valuable. So valuable. Great accurate throw after extending the play. really puts pressure on the defense, and Jacksonville just couldn't hold up under it.
26-yard gain for Cameron. 1st and 10 for the Dolphins at the 15-yard line. Lamar Miller running left side at the 10. Miller spun down at the 8-yard line. Telvin Smith makes the tackle with 2.5 minutes to go, and each team has all 3 timeouts remaining.
That was a really well-executed run play by the Dolphins there. Pouncey, the center, actually got out in front of Miller. Miller, very patient, set up the cutback. Nice, solid 7-yard gain.
Looks like the Dolphins will just let the time run down to the 2-minute warning. It will be 2nd and 3 when we come back. Dolphins on the move. They need it. They trail 17-6. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Jacksonville leads Miami 17-6, but the Dolphins have it 2nd and 3 at the Jaguars' 9-yard line. And defensive lineman Earl Mitchell has reported as eligible for this play for the Dolphins.
He's the fullback in the backfield.
310 pounds.
Mitchell blocking for Lamar Miller, but not much doing there. And Jacksonville has called timeout. It's first of the half. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
I like this strategy by Gus Bradley right here, showing a lot of confidence in his young offense, playing so well, taking a timeout. It's 3rd down right now, knowing that Miami is going to have to throw the ball. You see Brandon Albert limping off the field. He had the hand injury earlier. Now it looks like something with one of his legs or feet. But Gus Bradley showing confidence in his defense to make a stop and trying to get the ball back for his offense that has been very explosive today. I like the confidence.
Jason Fox is in at left tackle for Albert.
Look for the big target, Jordan Cameron, who's up at the top of the picture.
Tannehill out of the gun on 3rd and 5. Has time. Chased by Audric. Fires, and it's caught. Touchdown, Miami. Damian Williams has put 6 more on the board for the Dolphins. A 10-yard touchdown.
That is all Ryan Tannehill. The Jacksonville Jaguars had this play broken off right at the snap. They defended it perfectly, and Tannehill just extends it and goes off the page. You see here he rolls out, runs away from Audric, and just fires a shot to the pylon. Great job by Williams to get open and make himself available, and that's just that's making plays.
That's pure instinct by Ryan Tannehill. Remember, he was a former receiver when he got to Texas A&M before Mike Sherman converted him into a quarterback, but he's very, very athletic, very mobile, great instincts on that play, and highly accurate throwing the football.
Yeah, rolling to his left and throwing that football, open up his shoulders and getting that ball, putting the velocity on it right on the money.
They're just confirming the touchdown in replay. All scoring
touchdowns
and plays are subject to review, and looks like it's good. It is. On that drive, Tannehill 4 for 4 for 59 yards. And now here's Andrew Franks for the extra point, trying to make it a 4-point game.
I still like the timeout that Gus Bradley took to give him time here, too. You just see that go through. Both teams doing it right in that last 2 minutes of this first half.
So Jacksonville will get the ball back, 1:48 to go and 2 timeouts. You're watching week 2 of the NFL on CBS. You're home for Super Bowl 50. How about a Super Bowl memory? The defending champion Miami Dolphins took on the Vikings in Super Bowl 8, and Larry Zonka rushed 33 times for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was the first running back to be named Super Bowl MVP. Dolphins won 24-7, the second of back-to-back Super Bowl titles. And is the goal this year for the 2015 Miami Dolphins. And Steve Berline, you mentioned it, but we spoke with Joe Philbin last night and Ryan Tannehill, and they are all thinking championship. And we said, well, what do you have to do to get over the hump? Last year, down the stretch, Miami finished 2-4 in their final 6 games, and what they spoke of was mental toughness. That's what they want to see out of their team this year. how do you define mental toughness? How do you acquire mental toughness?
Well, I really don't think it's something you can put into a person. You can develop it by a mentality. The coach can preach it. But I think it really comes down to whether a person inside, deep down inside, they've got the ability to stand up and be counted for and to come through under pressure. The mentality is established in the locker room by the coaches and by the veteran players. The younger players either buy into it or they don't. But until you see them in the heat of battle, you don't really know if they're going to be able to respond when they're put to the fire. But you develop the mentality as much as you possibly can in the offseason.
So following the touchback, 1:48 to go, 2 timeouts remaining for the Jaguars. 4 possessions for Jacksonville, 2 touchdowns and a field goal so far today. Bortles throws high and incomplete. Robinson the intended target.
Now this is a situation, great opportunity for Blake Bortles to show his maturity if he is making that kind of progress, which I think he is. But right here, his #1 priority is to not make a mistake. If it's not clean, it's not there, you cannot have a turnover in this situation.
Yeah, a punt is not the end of the world. An interception could be.
Ndamukong Suh is back in the game for the Dolphins on 2nd and 10. Bortles. Vernon chasing him from behind. Bortles throws on the run, incomplete off the hands of TJ Yeldon, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, that's an accuracy you just saw Tannehill exhibit, and Bortles running to his left. He didn't turn his hips open and turn towards the line of scrimmage. He kind of throws this sideways right here. He tries to get his hips open, and he ends up throwing it behind Yeldon. That could have been a nice play for a 1st down, and they couldn't connect. And that's the accuracy under any circumstances you want from your quarterback.
I would expect, if I were Blake Bortles, Greg Olsen, the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, I would expect pressure here.
3rd and 10. Bortles the screen to Yeldon. And he is tripped up in the backfield. Jelani Jenkins and Brent Grimes making the tackle. So Jacksonville goes 3 and out, and Miami is not forced to use any of their timeouts. So they'll get the ball back with all 3 timeouts.
That's a mistake by Yeldon, not staying in bounds and keeping the clock running. Because now that's plenty of time for Miami to come back and put some more points on the board or put themselves in position with 1.5 minutes to go with 3 timeouts.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And I think Greg Olsen was surprised too. He called a play expecting pressure. That screen pass, a good job by the Miami Dolphins coordinator, Kevin Coyle, setting back in the zone defense and making a play.
Landry fields the punt at the 26. Took one back to the house last week. Spins all the way up to the 44-yard line. A return of 20 after a 57-yard punt from Brian Anger. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Tony, Clark, Boomer, and Coach Cower have all the latest NFL scores and highlights, and they'll also preview the Thursday night football game between the Giants and Redskins, which you can see on CBS and NFL Network. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. So Miami gets the ball back at their own 45-yard line with all 3 timeouts. Meanwhile, Brandon Albert out with a hamstring injury. His return is questionable, so once again, Jason Fox at left tackle. Miller out of the backfield, out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
You know, for all we've talked about the Washington game last week and how it was kind of laughable that the Dolphins kind of had to apologize for only winning by a touchdown on the road in week 1, but some of the positive things that came out of that game was their 2-minute drive right before halftime of the game last week that gave them some life there just before halftime, and their 4-minute offense. They're going to get another chance this week with 2 minutes or 1 minute and 11 seconds left and 3 timeouts to do that. Again, if they can do that, all of a sudden, all the good things that Jacksonville has done go away.
5 straight completions for Tannehill on 2nd and 9 over the middle, caught by Matthews. 1st down, Miami into Jacksonville territory, and now a whistle and a timeout has been called by Miami with 1:02 to go. They still have 2 timeouts remaining.
Here we go with Tannehill. You're going to see he sets up in the pocket and he makes a night. What's going to happen here? He's going to lob this ball over the top of the linebackers underneath the safety. It's really a great throw to get this ball up and over and into that hole. Super job of anticipating and having great touch and accuracy.
Tannehill only has 4 incompletions today. He's 13 of 17 for 172 yards and a touchdown.
And now the clock almost is irrelevant. With 2 timeouts in a minute 2, you're inside the 35-yard line. It's almost irrelevant. You have all the time and all the timeouts you need to run your complete offense.
Slow start for Miami, but their offense has really picked it up here in the second quarter. On the move again, 1:02 to go. Tannehill to Miller, wrapped up immediately by Pusluzny. Neither team calls a timeout here.
Plenty of time. No need to panic. They want to keep their timeouts as long as they can.
And now movement on the line, and a flag comes in.
That right tackle flinched. Dwan James.
Here's John Parry.
The clock was running. False start. Offense, number 70. This penalty either includes a team timeout or a 10-second runoff. Miami has chosen their second team timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining.
So the penalty has to come with either a timeout or the 10-second runoff, and Miami elected to use the timeout. They only have 1 remaining now.
Yeah, that hurts. They had to waste the timeout without even running a play there.
And they lose the 5 yards as well.
Right. That hurts. I don't know. I almost would be tempted to take the 10-second runoff because you have then 2 timeouts. Right. Now you only got 1.
Right.
Timeout saves a lot more than 10 seconds.
I agree. If you don't take the timeout, you take the 10-second runoff. You got 2 timeouts, and your run game is still in your options. Now you got to throw it.
Exactly.
Second down and 12 following the penalty. Cameron comes in motion. Tannehill play action, in trouble, steps up. Now he's going to keep it himself to the 30 and tackle at the 29-yard line.
Now they have to burn the last time out.
And they do, with 34 seconds remaining.
The other way now by Tannehill getting tackled on the field. If they had just run the 10-second time off on the last play, they'd have maybe 7 or 8 seconds left, but still another timeout after they spent 1 here. So easy to question from up here, but I think the right call would have been to take the 10-second runoff.
Well, they'd have had 24 seconds.
Exactly.
You know, and that's
with another timeout.
Yeah, plenty of time. With enough, I agree. They should have taken the runoff instead of losing the timeout. And both of us believe.
Every Thursday night, Joe Philbin watches about 3 to 4 games from the week before. Other games, not teams that he's playing, just to see how teams and coaches handle 2-minute situations. It's a tradition he started last year, and every Thursday night he'll be specifically watching for situations like this. Right now his team faced with 3rd and 7, 34 seconds to go. Jaguars may have jumped off sides. This could be a free play. Flag is down. Cameron tackled at the 25-yard line. But it looked like Chris Smith, the second-year man out of Arkansas, came across early.
Yeah, with 28 to go, they'll accept this penalty, obviously, and they'll bring up a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1.
Yeah, if you accept the penalty, the ball's going to be about the 24-yard line.
About where it is right now.
Yes. But it'd be only 3rd down instead of the 4th down.
That's
there
right.
Would be.
This is a no-brainer. I don't know.
Offside. Defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Will replay. 3rd down.
So now what'll happen? The Dolphins are going to get 1 shot to take a shot at the end zone, or if they do throw it in the field of play, they'll have to get up on the ball quickly and spike it. I think they're already within field goal range. The play, I think, here is to take a shot at the end zone. Looks like you might have one-on-one coverage right down here at the bottom. And at the top of the screen, same thing.
3rd down and 2. Odrick coming. Tannehill gets away. Lobs it out of bounds.
I hate that call.
And incomplete.
Get the first down and then spike the football. It was third down. You got to get the first. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You got to take a shot down, but I think if you can get the first down, you got to find a way to do that.
Well, if you get the first down, you're going to run off at least 15 seconds, so you're going to end up kicking the field goal anyway. You know, I think you can make a case for it either way. I like taking a shot at the end zone there. They just had a breakdown in protection.
42-yard field goal for Andrew Franks. Kick is on the way, and it is no good. First miss in the young career of Andrew Franks. And Miami is still down by 4 with 18 seconds remaining.
Just a heartbreaker for the Dolphins here to come out of that with no points on the board. A lot of questionable decisions and developments. No question that ball is left of the upright.
First time in a non-replacement season, the Dolphins have a rookie punter and a rookie kicker. And we spoke to Joe Philbin last night, and he said, look, these guys have got big legs. I know that. Have they been tested in a big pressure situation? Not really. So we'll still learn about them as we go, but we liked enough of what we saw over the summer to keep them. That was the first miss for Franks. Now 18 seconds to go, 2 timeouts for the Jags. And they're going to throw. And Bortles is nearly intercepted.
You will see this next play handed off.
Brent Grimes had it in his hands and dropped it.
That is not what Gus Bradley and Greg Olsen wanted to see right there. This nearly was catastrophic for the Jags because Grimes was going to be able to catch that ball and run a little bit.
Well, Blake Bortles looks and doesn't look anywhere else. He's looking at Robinson the entire play from the moment he had the ball in his hands, and Grimes just watched him and broke on the football. He can't stare the guy down.
They're going to throw again.
Wow.
And this pass is caught by Yeldon, trying to get out of bounds. He does. A first down, 42-yard line with 7 seconds to go. You guys a bit surprised they're throwing the ball here?
I like the aggression, and it shows a lot of trust in Bortles, but he almost proved him wrong a moment ago. Now, I think you got to take a shot at the end zone. 7 seconds. I mean, you do put a guy on the sidelines. If Bortles can gun it in there and get him close enough to try a long field goal, but I think you got to look down the field.
You got to get it 20 yards into the sideline if you want a shot at the field goal.
With just 7 seconds remaining. Bortles throws out of bounds, incomplete. A late flag comes in from the secondary.
He's pointing towards.
If it's PI, it's a spot foul, which gives him a shot at the field goal.
He was pointing towards Jacksonville as though the receiver.
Oh, offensive.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. Ball be placed, the spot of the foul, automatic, first down.
Big penalty on Bryce McCain. That moves the ball to the 38-yard line.
This will be a 51-yarder, a 56-yarder.
And they're going to run out their kicker, Jason Myers.
Right there is the penalty.
And it's hard to tell what exactly happened, but that's significant. The pass interference as opposed to illegal contact is a huge difference.
So Jason Myers, whose career long is 27, that was today, will now try from 58. It's online, and it's good! The kid from Marist with a 58-yard field goal, and Jacksonville will take a 7-point lead into the locker room. Oh, they are smiling in Poughkeepsie, New York, home of Marist and the Red Foxes. Jason Myers with a 58-yarder, and Gus Bradley likes what he sees.
Joe Philbin is at center line. He does not like where that ball was spotted. I think he's got a beef. I think they missed it by 2 yards. If they spot that ball where it was at 2 yards outside the 40, that kick comes up 2 yards short.
The question is whether it was PI or not.
The Verizon halftime report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Start of the third quarter in Jacksonville. The Jaguars have a 20-13 lead. Time now for our DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. And Blake Bortles hooking up twice in the first half with Allen Robinson, who has a career-high 145 yards receiving. Jaguars lead by 7. Back in the booth with Steve Berline and Steve Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalan. Wild sequence to end that first half. We're going to go back and show you what appeared to be a very generous spot by the refs for Jacksonville, but nonetheless, the field goal counted, and the Jags lead by 7. Can they keep this going in the second half?
I've been very impressed with how Blake Bortles has played. On the other side, Ryan Tannehill has kept his team in the ballgame. Both quarterbacks stepping up and making plays in the passing game. Should be a very exciting second half.
Miami gets the ball to start the second half. What do you want to see out of their offense, Steve Tasker?
Yeah, I think they need to keep depending on Ryan Tannehill. He's by far their best offensive weapon right now. His ability to extend plays and make plays that are off the page, along with Jarvis Landry, I think it gives them an edge in the second half.
So Miami will start with the football at the 20. Now, let's go back to that last sequence that closed out the first half. And here's the pass interference call first.
Yeah, right here is the pass interference. And you look where the contact happens on the 42-yard line. That's a bad line by me, but that's a 42-yard line. But when they line up, they line it all the way to the 40, which makes it a 58-yard kick instead of a 60-yard kick. And if you look at the other end of the kick, how far does this kick make it over the crossbar? About a yard, maybe a half a yard. So that spot, forget whether you like the penalty or not, the spot was atrocious, and it led to 3 points.
Screen pass to start the second half. Lamar Miller changes field across the 30, and Miller with a Miami first down to the 32-yard line. And Joe Philbin, we saw him going off the field to close out the first half. He was right in the ref's face, not happy about the call and the spot.
He had a lot to be upset about. Number one, Brent Grimes, 2 plays before that, should have intercepted that pass that hit him right in the chest. And then the penalty, I think, was very questionable. I don't have any idea what they were calling on the play. And then the spot, all 3 of those, I think, are very frustrated. And Joe Philbin, obviously, very upset, and rightfully so.
Brandon Albert is officially out with a hamstring injury for the Dolphins. Tannehill deep to Landry, makes the adjustment and the catch into Jacksonville territory. A gain of 36 for Jarvis Landry.
And this is what Miami's got to do. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. And Landry has got as good a ball skills as any wideout in the league. And we've seen it even here today. The first one-handed catch that he made, and this one on a throw that Tannehill throws in there. And I'm telling you what, this is a great catch as well. Wobbling ball, he spins on a dime, puts both hands on it, and takes the contact. Get off me, man. I just made a catch. Landry's the guy you're looking for.
Longest catch of Jarvis Landry's career. The previous long was 25. How about this play? Back to Landry. He's got some room. Flag is down. Landry's still going. Inside the 10, inside the 5, and finally brought down at the 4. But let's see what the penalty is.
It's coming back, I think.
Holding, offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Yeah, right tackle, Juwan James. Joe Philbin, for as badly as the first half went, and it wasn't his fault. I mean, his team was playing well. He got coming out after halftime, and the team looks really ready to play.
Yeah, just an illegal block in the back. You could see very clearly that Juwan James pushed him from behind.
I think that happened before that.
Well, that was down the field. I don't know. You can't block a guy in the back down the field. I don't know. The call was holding. You're right.
So following the penalty, 1st and 14. Tannehill slides down wisely at the 33-yard line.
And I think it's important, and the Dolphins are doing it, to come out and grab this game quickly in the second half. The Dolphins did that last week, and of course they were sparked by Jarvis Landry once again, like they are here with the 69-yard punt return. But this is a team that has notoriously started slow, but now, even in the last part of the first half, and now, even though they got no points off that nice 2-minute drive because of the missed field goal, they have played extremely well in their last few series, and they got to keep that going.
Second down and 11. Tannehill fires a bullet, a first down for Miami. Rashard Matthews on the catch. That's his third of the day. It goes for 14 yards.
Nice rhythm throw here by Ryan Tannehill. Good pocket, and that ball is threaded, right? Paul Postlesny, number 51, was run into that hook zone on the snap, and because of the timing and accuracy of Tannehill, that is a big play for the Miami Dolphins once again.
Matthews in his fourth year out of Nevada, just had his first child, Zayden, who was born on September 1st. When he scored last week, he cradled the football like a baby in honor of his new son. This is Landry. He's got some room. Landry out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. What a start to this half by the Miami Dolphins. Aaron Colvin made the tackle.
Wow, this Landry kid is something else. I mean, he just has an unbelievable ability to make plays. I thought for sure he was going to be run down there before he got to the edge, but he surprised me, got to the edge in another nice game.
He is very close friends with Odell Beckham Jr. of the Giants. They were teammates at LSU, and Jarvis told us last night that Odell's success has really motivated him. He's trying to match Odell Beckham Jr.'s progress as Lamar Miller gets it inside the 5.
Look at this. We mentioned the last few series for this Miami offense, and look at Tannehill's numbers and how he's thrown it. I mean, that's a lot of good things. 9 of 10 for $137, and you see the 6-1, the X, and that was a throwaway. And that was a throwaway, exactly right. And right before halftime, he has really put it together now here later in this game.
Second and goal. Tannehill over the middle, caught, touchdown! And it's Jake Stoneburner, promoted off the practice squad this week. That's his first career catch, and it goes for a touchdown.
Boy, another great throw by Ryan Tannehill. You see him make the quick decision. That ball is threaded right there, and Stoneburner get the opportunity, step up and make a play. You might be around for a while.
Second-year tight end out of Ohio State. He played 9 games for the Packers in 2013. Did not play last year. He's been part of the year on the Miami practice squad, but with Deion Sims out with a concussion, Stoneburner got promoted off the practice squad this week, and he's got his first NFL catch.
Yeah, the guys are letting him have it too. That's a milestone. It's awesome, man. I wonder if he remembered to keep the football.
We asked Ryan Tannehill about Stoneburner last night, and he said, yeah, he can make some plays. We saw some stuff this week in practice. He made a play right there, and Miami an extra point away from tying this game. Tannehill on that drive was 5 of 5 for 80 yards. Extra point by Franks is good. What a drive by the Dolphins to start this second half. Tannehill to Stoneburner. And we're tied at 20 in Jacksonville. An 8-play, 80-yard drive to open up the second half for the Dolphins. They've tied it at 20. Ryan Tannehill on that drive. Perfect. 80 yards and a touchdown. Franks kicks it away to Corey Grant. And this will be a touchback. Jacksonville football at the 20 when we come back. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Beautiful day in Jacksonville. 10:28 to go, third quarter. We're tied at 20. With Steve Berlon and Steve Tasker, I'm Andrew Catalon. 273 yards in the first half for Jacksonville, the most they've had in the first half in 3 years, since December against Tennessee. Let's see how they respond here with their first drive of the second half. Bortles rolling right. Throws on the run. Robinson comes back to make the catch. Grimes with the tackle, but there is a flag down, and it's going to be a push-off against Allen Robinson.
You can see it. He got big separation at the top of the route, working against
Pass interference,
Grimes.
offense, number 15, 10-yard penalty replay. First down.
You'll see coming off of the top of his route, where you might not be able to see it here. He gave him an extra push at the end. It doesn't look like too much from there, but it might have been. I saw the separation, and Grimes kind of slipped and went down.
Yeah, that exacerbated it. I think it exaggerated, whatever you want to use word-wise. And the arm might have been extended by Robinson, but didn't look like much contact there.
So it's 1st and 20. Jacksonville backed up to its own 10-yard line. 3 receivers set for Bortles. He gives it to Yeldon. And Yeldon pushes forward for 3 yards. Only one more day until the biggest premiere in the universe. You won't want to miss the first new episode of the season. It's The Big Bang Theory on its new night tomorrow, 8/7 Central, right here on CBS. Well, the Jaguars did not have a completion to a tight end last week, and still today, their tight ends have not had a catch. Mercedes Lewis does not have a catch this season yet. See if they go to him here on 2nd and 16. Bortles looking deep for Lee. It's incomplete. And, you know, looking back at the numbers last week in week 1, tight ends scored 22 receiving touchdowns. The most touchdowns in a week that tight ends have had since the 1970 merger. They had more touchdowns than wide receivers last week, and yet still the Jags aren't going to their tight ends.
But Mercedes Lewis is a blocking tight end, and Julius Thomas is the #1 threat that they wanted in the tight end passing game. It just hasn't happened for him. Mercedes Lewis is kind of limited what he can do at this point in his career. Bottom line is, Blake Bortles needed to complete that last pass to Marquise Lee because he was open.
3rd down and 16. Bortles to Hearns for the first down. Hearns trying to run away from Jones. He can. Another tackle for Rashad Jones. But a gain of 24 for the Jaguars. They move the chains.
Well, this play to me is all about the pass protection. Bortles had plenty of time to stand there and let that route develop. You knew it was going to take a while to get all that way down the field. With 16 yards to go, Bortles stands there, looks around, finally comes late down the middle to Hearns and throws the strike. But that had no chance of being anything but a completion if you're going to let your quarterback stand there like that and eat a sandwich before he throws the football.
What kind of sandwich?
I have to ask him.
Yeldon on the carry to the 45. Guys, we got to give a lot of credit to this Jacksonville offensive line. Without Luke Joeckel today, out with a ankle injury. They have a backup left tackle in Sam Young. Miami with their impressive front seven. No sacks allowed today by the Jaguars offense.
Very impressive, especially when you consider the hole that they just got themselves out of, where they were in obvious passing situations, 1st and 20, backed up in their own end zone, and to stand in there at halftime to eat a sandwich and make a play, very impressive.
Yeldon trying to get to the outside. Good moves by T.J. Yeldon. Jelani Jenkins finally caught up to him. A gain of 7 for Yeldon.
Well, the offensive line doesn't get any credit for this one. This is all T.J. Yeldon. He steps up, and it's broken off right there. As you see the Dolphins, as we saw in the first half, Aikens coming in off the edge. They're going to try and stop the run with the secondary, and Yeldon made him pay for it. He bounced it to the outside and did a great individual effort for the first down.
Aikens' only responsibility on that play, he blew it, was to keep contained. He bid on the inside move, and Yeldon took advantage.
Yeldon with a career-high 52 yards rushing, and he gets a breather here. Bernard Pierce in the backfield, and he gets the carry. And Pierce is stopped after a gain of 1. 7:20 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, we spoke about it in the open, but this Miami defense has got some expectations attached to it. Those guys up front with Mosley and Ndamukong Suh, you know, Jordan Phillips, who's the rookie. I mean, they were expected to be a dominant defensive front, and they have not been that thus far in the season. Not last week, and certainly not this week.
Jacksonville has 106 yards rushing. Last week, Miami allowed 161 to the Redskins. 7th play of the drive. Bortles down the side of the field, and it's incomplete. Robinson went up to get it. Bryce McCain with good coverage for Miami.
That's exactly what Jacksonville should be doing. They're getting a pressure look up front, one-on-one on the outside. It's man coverage. Give your playmakers a chance to make a play. Now, the fans are upset because there was no attempt to look back by McCain to try and play the ball on that play, and normally that is kind of called if there is contact and the defensive player is not looking back to play the football.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough contact there. I'd like that was a no call. I like that fact. That you got to let him play, and the throw's got to be a little better.
Sue and the Dolphins trying to hold Jacksonville here. It's 3rd and 9. Play action. Pressure coming. Bortles pass deflected in the air. And incomplete. It was Brent Grimes coming on the blitz, and he got his hand on it.
Let me ask you, Steve Burlon, your quarterback, why is it so difficult for a quarterback to give that little pump fake and stay poised and just deliver that?
This was set up perfectly. You're right. It was a great play by Grimes, but Bortles has got to find a way to deliver that ball over the top, get it to his running back, because the screenplay was set up on the outside.
And Brent Grimes is 5'10". His defensive coordinator, Kevin Coyle, calls him shorty. So Bortles not able to get it over the 5'10" Grimes, and now Jacksonville will have to punt. Landry waiting Brian Anger's kick at his own 9-yard line. Landry lets it go into the end zone. And Miami, in a tie game, will start their next drive from the 20 here in Jacksonville. Peyton Thompson was promoted off the Jacksonville practice squad yesterday. This is just his 3rd NFL game, and he's now at corner because Devon House is doubtful to return for the Jaguars because of hydration issues. So let's see if Tannehill and the Dolphins target Peyton Thompson. They don't on 1st down. They keep it on the ground to Lamar Miller. And Ryan Tannehill in a very good groove right now, especially that opening drive of the 2nd half.
Yeah, he's had his rhythm going here for quite a while since the beginning of the 2nd quarter. And of course it helps to have guys making plays like Landry down the field, and here Stoneburner for the touchdown. But Tannehill is decisive. He's accurate when things break down. He's able to break the pocket, break contain, and make a play down the field. Both quarterbacks really playing very well today, as the numbers attest.
Tannehill is 12 for his last 13 for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that pass is incomplete, and a flag comes down.
This is going to be roughing the passer.
Tannehill went to the ground.
Excuse me. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 93. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's on Alu.
Well, let's see what Alu does here. He's got a clean run. It's a screen pass. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's a lack of discipline.
Yep, he knows it. I mean, heck, he took a good 2 or 3 steps after the ball was released and then knocks him down.
You may not like it, but that's the way the NFL, and it's been that way for Alu's entire career. It's not like this just happened yesterday. He's got to know better than that, and that's an enormous penalty to give Miami a jump start on this drive.
Penalty number 6 on Jacksonville for 63 yards. 5:45 to go, 3rd quarter. Tannehill deep for Cameron, incomplete. He had him open. A rare misfire by Ryan Tannehill today.
Yeah, this is one that Tannehill's got to make. You're going to see right here is Cameron. He's just going to go straight up the seam, and there's a great lane right there. Ryan Tannehill could normally make this throw in his sleep. You see the safety's way back in the middle of the field, put that ball right on him. That's a big play that gets out of his grasp right there. Cameron knows he had a shot at that. Now the pressure obviously was coming, but he's still got to make that throw.
Jarvis Landry against the guy just off the practice squad right there in the slot.
That's Peyton Thompson. Lamar Miller, nowhere to go, but Chris Smith misses a tackle. Not the 2nd time as Josh Evans came up from his safety position to make the stop. A loss of 5.
Great play defensively by Jacksonville. I'm very surprised, though, Steve, though, like you said, you got the matchups you want out there. Billy Lazor, the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Joe Philbin, they got to be on top of that stuff and make sure that they understand who's on the field, where the opportunity is.
And it's nothing against Peyton Thompson. I'm just saying,
you got to test him.
You got to try it.
3rd and 15. 5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Tannehill to Miller. And Miller is wrapped up by Telvin Smith at the 41-yard line. That is well short of a 1st down, and Miami will have to punt.
Yeah, I'm putting that on Bill Lazor. They blew that on a pitch play on 2nd and 15 that at best was going to get him 3 or 4 yards. I think you got to throw that football, and you got to test a secondary that's depleted and a defense that was depleted even before the game started.
Well, they've got time to talk about it now. They'll go over to the sideline. They'll identify for sure who was on the field. If they don't come back and attack that area, then I think we have something to talk about.
Second punt today for the rookie Matt Darr. Rashad Green calls for a fair catch at the 21-yard line. 4:09 to go in the third quarter. It's been a good one between the Jaguars and the Dolphins. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
I was like, I don't want to.
First and 10 for Jacksonville with 4:09 to go in the third quarter. We're tied at 20. TJ Yeldon. And there's that Miami run defense that Dolphin fans have been looking for. Earl Mitchell and Jelani Jenkins crashing down on Yeldon for a loss of 3.
Great job penetration at the point there. You see the whole defense all led by Olivier Vernon off that offensive right side, offensive left side, defensive right side in the backfield. Nice play to start this drive off 4-yard loss.
9 tackles for Jelani Jenkins today. He had 11 in the opener against Washington. Bortles to Robinson. What a grab by Allen Robinson. That's a couple yards short of a first down, but still a great catch by Robinson.
Yeah, he's going to come down, turn to the inside. Bortles throws his out away from the defender, and he has just enough athletic ability and length to go out and get it. That is why a quarterback keeps throwing to the same guy over and over, because he trusts him and because he does stuff like that. We've seen Landry do it for the Dolphins, and Robinson do it all day today as well.
6 catches, 155 yards for Robinson, a new career high, but he's 4 yards short of a first down. It's 3rd and 4. Jacksonville 5 for 9 on third downs today. Bortles fires, Marquise Lee, first down catch. That was a rocket from Blake Bortles, and there's a flag down back in the area where Bortles released that football.
And this is going to go against the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can see Bortles react.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty, replay. Third down.
That's the right tackle, Jeremy Parnell.
Right here. And you can see when the defensive lineman's head turns and his head's back like that, they can see that from behind as well as from the front. That comes from the guy facing the play. He had a good view of it, and it's an easy call.
So you wipe the first down catch off the board for Marquise Lee, and now it's 3rd and 14 for Bortles, who got off to a hot start, but he's been quiet ever since. Can he come through here? Has some time. Throws on the run, and Yeldon had it and lost it. Incomplete. Yeldon and Robinson ran into each other.
He was throwing that ball to Robinson. Yeldon was not where he was supposed to be on the route. Yeldon thought it was coming to him, but that ball was intended for Allen Robinson. You'll see him crossing the field right at the top of your screen there. There he is right there. It's going to Robinson. Yeldon really shouldn't have been going there. You can't fault him for the effort, but he's got to understand the pass route. You don't want 2 receivers in the same area.
Well, that happened as the play broke down and they started to get late in the play. Yeldon turned his out route up the field to give Bortles an outlet, and it turned into the crash at the end.
So Jacksonville has to punt on 4th and 14. Anger kicking to Landry. Has some room here from his 29. And Landry goes down. Corey Grant with the special teams tackle. 1:59 to go in the third. We're back after this. 1:59 to go, third quarter. We are tied at 20. Ryan Tannehill having a big day, 20 of 26 for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jacksonville looking for its first September win since 2012. They've lost 10 straight in the month of September. Tannehill to the air. Rashard Matthews with the grab. Gets away from one, but then is down at the 42-yard line. That's the 4th catch of the day for Rashard Matthews.
You get to this point where the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't been here very often. Tied late in the third quarter. And Gus Bradley has always said he wanted this team to get to a point where they're mentally tough enough to finish games of this magnitude. Not just compete, but finish them and win them. We'll see if they can do it today.
Miller. Telvin Smith with a big hit on Lamar Miller. Jacksonville remains very excited about the second-year Smith out of Florida State. And he'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Final minute of the third quarter.
I think you bring pressure on Tannehill right here. He's been too good with too much time. I think you've got to find a way to flush him out of the pocket and make him uncomfortable and maybe start hitting him. I think it's time for Jacksonville to bring pressure.
Damian Williams next to Tannehill. Steps up, pass caught by Kenny Stills for a first down.
Well, they showed pressure with Puslesny and Telvin Smith, but they dropped out into coverage, and Tannehill threw it right between them.
Good job by Kenny Stills knowing where that first down marker was. Kenny Stills a big acquisition this offseason as a free agent, giving them another weapon in this passing game.
Acquired in a trade, actually by the Saints, from the Saints, and that was his second catch of the day, and that looks like it'll be the final play of the third quarter. Through 3, we are tied at 20. We'll return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Start of the fourth quarter in Jacksonville. The Dolphins and Jaguars tied at 20, week 2 of the NFL on CBS. And you got to give a lot of credit to this point to Jacksonville. They have kept Blake Bortles upright. He has not been sacked. Again, Jacksonville without its starting left tackle today. Luke Jokel out with an ankle injury. But let's see how much Gus Bradley's team comes through in a close game. Haven't been in many of these types of games. Tied at 20 to start the fourth. Damian Williams on the carry, and he gets across midfield to the 49-yard line.
Miami up to this point has got less than 50 yards rushing in this game. They've got to do a better job of that. Although Tannehill has completed a ton of his passes, I think they've got to be more balanced if they want to be effective in their offense. Sooner or later, Ryan Tannehill's going to get sacked or get hit, and they're going to have to lean on something other than him because he'll get taken away.
Ryan Tannehill is actually Miami's leading rusher today, 17 yards. Smith coming with pressure. Tannehill gets it to Landry. Landry with a Miami first down to the 38-yard line. Aaron Colvin makes the tackle. Let's go back to New York. An update with JP.
Andrew, not a pretty sight for Dallas fans.
Watch this right here. You're going to see Tony Romo go down. Jordan Hicks falls right on his left shoulder as he loses the ball. Philadelphia recovered. And you're going to see Tony Romo goes off the field holding his left shoulder. You can see they came out. He did walk off the field holding his left shoulder, and then you see the extent of the injury.
We'll pass along the information as we get it. Back to Andrew Catalan.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Tannehill's pass is caught by Rashard Matthews. Now they're saying it's incomplete, but there are multiple flags down on the field.
It's going to be a hold on Miami.
Holding, offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Been a tough day for the second-year right tackle Jawan James out of Tennessee.
And I still think at this point you got to have, if you're Jacksonville, you've got to bring pressure on Tannehill. Although he burdened him a moment ago when they brought 6, you see there right at the bottom as Audric got by James, and James had to latch onto him. I still think they got to bring pressure if you're Jacksonville.
Well, you know, the problem with that, Steve, is that Ryan Tannehill is one of the best pressure quarterbacks in the league, and he's burned this defense a few times when they've brought pressure. So it's a dicey situation.
From midfield, 1st and 20. Tannehill, play action. With time to Landry. Underneath, and look at the room to run. Landry making the moves up to the 38-yard line before Puslesny wrestles him down. A gain of 12 for Jarvis Landry.
I like the job that Ryan Tannehill did right here, surveying the whole field, knowing that you don't need to get it all back at once after the penalty on Jawan James. Go through your read. You had two guys in front of you for their short pass. Maybe they can turn it into a decent gain, as Landry just did. Now you're looking at 2nd and 8.
11th straight game for Jarvis Landry with at least 5 catches. That's the longest streak in franchise history. Keeps it going today. 5 catches, 80 yards for Landry. It's 2nd and 8. Tannehill looking end zone for Stills, incomplete. It was Demetrius McCray, stride for stride on the coverage with Stills.
That's a smart throwaway by Tannehill. That was a one-time shot. They were going to do a double move off play action and thought they could pop a guy open. If it wasn't there, Tannehill just, hey, throw it out of the back of the end zone, come back and take a 3rd and 9.
Jacksonville has not allowed a 300-yard passer in 13 straight games. That's the second longest active streak. Right now, Ryan Tannehill has 297 yards passing as he's in the shotgun for this 3rd and 8. They just got the snap off. Tannehill again with time, now has to roll out. Throws on the run, and that one is incomplete again.
Well, that time, Steve Tasker, you did get your pressure off the edge, off the left side of the offense. Tannehill flushed from the pocket, nowhere to go with the football, so the pressure did come, and it worked on that play. You'll see pressure coming off the right side of your screen, and there's the late pressure.
It's Peyton Thompson, who we mentioned earlier, promoted off the practice squad yesterday.
That's a good way to use a young, inexperienced defensive back as well. You don't expose him in coverage. You let him come and rush and try and make a play in the backfield.
How about this? First time today that Tannehill has thrown consecutive incompletions. That one comes on 3rd down. It's 4th and 8. Matt Darr out to punt. Rashad Green at his own 10-yard line.
You know, take an intentional delay of game. I think what you do is you decline it if you're Gus Bradley. You don't have to take it.
Delay game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I decline it. And he's going to take it. I don't know. It makes it easier for the punter to put that, gives him more room to get him inside the 20. I think you decline that penalty.
That's why Joe Philbin was willing to take the penalty.
That's right.
They were hoping that Jacksonville would take the penalty.
This one's going right in the end zone.
And the 2nd time in a row.
Touchback. 12:30 to go. Blake Bortles and the Jags still tied with the Dolphins. Your weekend starts with Kirk Cousins and the Redskins in a rumble among rivals with Eli Manning and the Giants. It's all here on Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. With Steve Berline and Steve Tasker, I'm Andrew Catalan, our entire NFL on CBS crew. 12:30 to go. In the 4th quarter, we're tied at 20. It's been a slow go here in the 2nd half for Jacksonville. After 273 yards in the 1st half, just 49 yards to this point in the 2nd half.
Come on, D. Let's go.
They struggled last week in the 2nd half against Carolina with just 75 total yards. Bortles pump fake. Now looking down the sideline, incomplete. Marquise Lee, the intended target. We mentioned the injury to Luke Joeckel, out today with an ankle injury, the starting left tackle, but credit to the Jacksonville offensive line. Done a good job protecting Blake Bortles.
Across the board, they really have done a good job. We thought that was going to be a big factor in this ball game. Negatively, with Sam Young stepping in for Luke Joeckel, and the strength of this Miami defensive front across the board. But the Jaguars have stood up and really played well up front all day long.
No sacks today by either team with 12:24 to go in the 4th. Rashad Green with a drop. He dropped one last week, and the 5th round draft pick this year drops another. That can't happen if you're Jacksonville.
Well, the Jaguars have the 3rd most drops in the NFL since the beginning of last season. This has been all too common in this offense when you're struggling offensively and you have a chance to make a play. I mean, that's an uncontested. That's wide receiver 101 right there. You took your eyes off the ball. Inexcusable.
So it's 3rd down and 10. Bortles sideline and another drop. That was a tougher one, but Green dropped it again, and Jacksonville goes 3 and out. Bortles 2 for 9 this half.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing. You want to know why Jacksonville seems to be perennially in the rebuild mode. It's because of this. I mean, last week they started the game against Carolina with drops. It hamstrung their ability to get on the field and stay there. That's a first down that was lost, and it's happened again today at a point when they really need it. They're coming up short with drop balls. It's amazing. It's totally unacceptable.
Back-to-back 3 and outs. Last week, Jarvis Landry broke a tie in the fourth quarter with a punt return touchdown. On the return here, this one won't be returned. Wow, Nick Marshall, the former Auburn quarterback, who made the team as an undrafted free agent with a big special teams play after a 55-yard punt from Brian Anger. 1st and 10 for the Dolphins. They are tied at 20 with the Jaguars. 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Tannehill to Landry. And Landry runs out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Okay, here's the play. This is the key defender on this play right here. You're going to see that if he comes to take Ryan Tannehill on the quarterback keeper, Tannehill will, it's actually the inside receiver, I'm sorry. Tannehill's optioning him. If he covers the Landry in the flat there, Tannehill will keep the ball. If he comes to tackle Tannehill, Tannehill throws the ball. It's a true run-pass option for Ryan Tannehill. Nicely executed. 9th career 300-yard game for Tannehill. First time in 14 games. The Jaguars have allowed a 300-yard passer, but they come right back with a sack. Sergio Brown leading the charge. That's the first sack of the day for either team.
Yeah, and this looked like, everything just collapsed. It's a great stunt on the inside as you see Chris Smith coming in and just collapsing it on the big loop. And man, oh man, they got there in a hurry. That's amazing for a guy who hasn't been hurried all that much and has extended some plays. No question, he's been pressured some. But man, oh man, that was a collapsed pocket.
You know who the key was on that? Roy Miller on the inside, number 97. He took 2 offensive linemen with him by splitting them, and they could not pick up everybody else coming.
1 on the play clock. Tannehill doesn't see it, and a delay of game against Miami.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
8 penalties for the Dolphins for 62 yards since Joe Philbin arrived in Miami. They are the least penalized team in the NFL, but not today.
You were right, Andrew. Ryan Tannehill had no idea, was not aware of that clock at all.
Tannehill's pass is complete. Rashard Matthews with another grab. That's his 5th of the day for 17 yards.
It's amazing. Ryan Tannehill got a new contract. He's never been considered a household name, never been considered an elite quarterback, never been considered a franchise quarterback, and yet if Miami wins here today, they're 2-0 because Ryan Tannehill is playing so well.
3rd down and 6. Landry in motion, covered by Peyton Thompson. Tannehill looking Landry's way. He's got it. Ball came out, and they are saying this is a fumble.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, but now they're saying it was incomplete. There was no indication immediately that that was an incomplete pass.
Right, the whistle was late, but as we know very, very well by a lot of examples, you got to complete the process of making the catch through the fall to the ground.
Yeah, that's not a catch. I mean, he has to roll over with it and keep it in. And yeah, that is not a catch.
If he's going to the ground, he's got to finish that process of going to the ground with complete control of the football.
Gus Bradley has thrown the red challenge flag. He wants to take a look at this one. First challenge this season by Gus. We're back in a moment.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field was confirmed. Player was going to the ground. He must maintain possession of the football. Jacksonville is charged with their first team timeout.
All right, there's the call. We go back to New York. Mike Carey, our officiating expert. And Mike, pretty black and white on this play right here.
Yes, guys, we're all in sync. The receiver has to keep complete control through 2 steps, then all the way through going to the ground. The ball gets tripped even before he hits the ground. Jacksonville wishes they had this one back.
No question about it. It's a wasted timeout for Gus Bradley and the Jaguars. And
In a close game.
And he's struggled a lot in the challenge department in his tenure. This is Rashad Green reversing field, trying to get to the outside. Had those 2 drops on the last drive, but a nice return of 22 for Rashad Green.
You hit it right on the head, though, Andrew. In a close game, if we look at this return one more time, we'll see great play by Rashad Green, but you can't give up timeouts like that in a close ball game.
Besides the fact you're going to get the ball back anyway. I know that it would have been a turnover. You would have had better field position. That was the best case scenario. Worst case, you don't challenge it. You've got the ball at the 33-yard line, and you've got an extra timeout.
Right.
Now Bradley with just 2. 9:23 to go.
Green 80! Green attack!
DJ Yeldon, first down carry. And Ndamukong Suh was the first one to get to Yeldon on that play.
Yeah, and that's what you expect out of him. He knifed through on the stunt right there. You see him right in the middle, comes right through around the outside of the guard and gets all the way across it. That's why the guy is so tough. You go outside the block of Brandon Linder, who's the guard, and make it all the way to the far side to make the tackle.
That was vintage Ndamukong Suh.
A loss of 1 on the play. Empty backfield for Bortles on 2nd and 11. And Mercedes Lewis with a drop. Well, they finally threw it to a tight end, and he dropped it.
Yeah, and this is the worst thing that Jaguars can do here. They've had 2 consecutive 3-and-outs already. They finally get the ball back. They get a nice return to get them decent field position. They cannot put their defense back on the field again with another 3-and-out.
Rashad Green comes back onto the field as well, so we'll see if Blake Bortles gives him an opportunity to make up for the 2 drops he had on the last series.
Last 8 plays for the Jaguars, -5 yards. It's 3rd and 11. Bortles rolling right, directing traffic, throws on the run, and it's incomplete. 3rd straight 3-and-out for the Jacksonville offense. Well, they have done nothing in this second half.
Last week, the Dolphins didn't allow any points after they spotted the Washington Redskins 10 points, a total scoreless second half, and they're looking to try and do that again this week against Jacksonville.
So once again, Jarvis Landry, the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, is back deep for Miami, awaiting the punt from Brian Anger. Well, that one was deflected by Miami. It bounces at the 40. Landry thinks a Jaguar touched it. A flag is down. Landry definitely thought that was touched, rather by a member of the Dolphins, which is why he ran after it.
I think he's right.
Yeah, if it touched a Dolphin, it's a live ball for both teams, and the Jaguars can get it back. Now, if a Jaguar touched it, Landry did the right thing as well, because if the Jaguars touch it, he can pick it up and try and do anything, because even if he fumbles it back, he gets the
return
ball
team
back.
number 30. 10-yard penalty. 1st and 10. Timeout of the field.
So holding against Zach Bowman is the call. 20-20. We're back in a moment. .8:21 to go in the 4th quarter. Miami and Jacksonville tied at 20. Ryan Tannehill has gone 141 straight pass attempts without an interception. That's a career long. And completes another. That was Rashard Matthews with the grab. Let's go back to that punt. A couple of different things to look at in this play.
Here's Zach Bowman, and watch, he's the one who got the penalty call, but also the ball comes in, lands on the back of his leg. Now that becomes a live ball, fumble. And everybody's trying to get it, and the kick itself was tipped. Scuda tries to get it and bat it back into play to keep it live so Jacksonville can get recovery of it, but it doesn't work out. Jarvis Landry does a great job.
Damian Williams on the carry. A flag comes in. It's going to be against Miami.
Holding. Offense. Number 63. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
Penalty on Dallas Thomas. We go back to New York. Another NFL Today update. Here's JB.
Andrew, the injury report on Tony Romo is not good.
Yeah, right here as you see him go down, Jordan Hicks falls on him. It's been diagnosed as a fractured left clavicle. No timetable for his return. Brandon Weeden is now the incumbent quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
More tests will be performed tomorrow. Back to Andrew Catalan.
Wow, JB, Coach Cowher, thank you. That is a massive injury for the Cowboys on the heels of Des Bryant's injury. 2nd and 11 out of the backfield. Williams makes the catch, but he's quickly out of bounds at the 25. Coming up after the game, time permitting, it's the Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher will be around for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up, time permitting, on the Subway postgame show. Big play here for Miami. It's 3rd down with 7:14 to go in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 8 for the Dolphins.
Once again, I think you bring pressure.
Tannehill chase and just has to throw it away. He was just outside the pocket. That won't be intentional grounding, but it was Paul Posluszny, the 9-year veteran, applying pressure to Tannehill.
You can't let Tannehill, as good as he's playing, just stand back there and pick his spot. You've got to make him hurry, at least throw. You see, Posluszny coming right up the middle is a great blitz, well executed and well timed, and Tannehill does the right thing as well, lofting it out of bounds.
We had a great chat with Paul Posluszny on Friday. He's 30 years old now. He says he doesn't feel good on Mondays anymore, so he's changed a lot of things about the way he prepares for each game. Lots of massage. He's cut a lot of red meat out of his diet. He said, I want to keep playing as long as I can. And if he plays like that, he's going to keep playing for a long time.
Yeah, an old veteran told me once, you play as long as you possibly can and then play one more year.
That's good advice.
Yes. It's good work if you can get it.
Matt Darr to punt it away. And Rashad Green again back deep for the Jaguars. Green drifting to his right. Signals for a fair catch at the 21, but there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. And another hold against Miami.
Yeah, they'll bring this one back and let him kick it again.
11 penalties today against the Dolphins.
That matches their output from last week as well. Joe Philbin's teams have notoriously been the least penalized under his tenure as head coach, and to begin 2015, they're among league leaders.
Kicking team number 34. Jacksonville has elected the 10-yard penalty at the end of the run. 1st and 10.
That's Damian Williams pleading his case on the sideline.
Right there on the left edge, you see him get the arm wrapped around.
And they're not going to make them re-kick. They're just going to tack the 10 on to where Green called a fair catch.
I don't know. I think you always make them cover another punt. It makes them, the punt coverage team is beat. They just ran 60 yards, full speed. Make them go back and do that again. Plus, that was a fantastic punt by Darr. Make them do it again.
The only flip side to that, Steve Tasker, is that Rashad Green, the rookie, is the guy back deep. He's already dropped 2 passes today. How much confidence does Gus Bradley have into them kicking again to a rookie?
You got 46 other guys on your roster. Put somebody out there you trust.
Well, 6:45 to go. We're still tied at 20. From the 32-yard line, T.J. Yeldon trying to sneak his way to the outside. He does and runs out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Brent Grimes forced him out. Well, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS rocks with doubleheader action when the Steelers battle the Rams, the Chargers challenge the Vikings, and then the Bears and Seahawks hit it off. It all starts with the team that'll take you all the way to Super Bowl 50. JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL Today. 6-yard gain on 1st down and 2nd and 4. Jaguars with still just 54 yards of offense in the 2nd half.
It is an understatement to say right now that this is the most important third down conversion of the day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The time remaining right at 6 minutes. Their defense has not had any break this whole second half. This offense has to show signs of life and get into scoring position. You don't know if you're going to get the ball back if you turn it over to the Dolphins.
They got to manufacture somehow, some way. They've got to get a first down on this series. I agree with you, Steve. This is a critical down, the most important one of the day.
Trying to avoid a fourth straight 3 and out. It's 3rd and 2. Pressure coming. Bortles in trouble. He is sacked. A flag is down. Olivier Vernon, the first man to get back there for Miami.
Oh, and the Dolphins secondary is going crazy. They get this call on them. Walt Aikens is going nuts, and so is Bryce McCain. They can't believe this is going against them.
Illegal use of hands to the face, defense. Number 35, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
12 penalties, 97 yards against Miami today.
And from the officiating standpoint, they believe that this is the reason Bortles didn't have any. And that right there, the hand is up in his face on Mercedes Lewis, and that's the call right there.
Like it or not, that is a penalty. It was the right call. Jacksonville escaped right there. Too bad for Miami. And a beautiful blitz, timed perfectly. Make a big play up front, you lose it to a dumb penalty like that.
8th penalty of the half. Rashad Green holds on to this one. And then Jamar Taylor with the tackle, but Green goes into Miami territory as we approach 5 minutes to go. Remember, Jacksonville has 2 timeouts remaining. They lost one on Gus Bradley's failed challenge.
I'll tell you one thing about that the Dolphins are doing right defensively. Allen Robinson killed him in the first half, and Blake Bortles hasn't been able to go to him, and he's been trying to throw the football to Rashad Green. He's got a couple of drops. If you take their number 1 guy away, the other guys have to step up, and Jacksonville hasn't been able to do that.
Yeldon, inside carry. And Jelani Jenkins and the Miami defense come up to make the tackle. Maybe a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and short for Jacksonville.
You know what running the ball is doing right now for Jacksonville. They're keeping themselves first off in 3rd and short situations, but most importantly right now, they're not interested in giving the ball back to the Miami Dolphins.
On the scoreboard here, they just showed a pretty blatant face mask. Derek Shelby on TJ Yeldon. That's why Gus Bradley was going nuts, but there was no call.
It's not reviewable anyway, so it doesn't matter, but the referees can't see everything.
3rd down and 1 on the play clock, and they don't get it off. Are they going to give him a timeout or call the
Gus
penalty?
Bradley called the timeout.
Wow. But that's now just 1 timeout left for the Jaguars. A failed challenge and not being aware of the play clock.
And I'll tell you that, I'll put that on the coaching staff of the Jaguars. They got a little bit wrapped up in that replay, thinking they should have had this penalty right here, right there, and they didn't get it, and they got a little bit wrapped up in that. It took them too long to get the get that play in, the next play, and they got caught.
Another NFL Today update. Here's JP and Coach Cowher.
Hey, fellas, the shootout in Oakland continues.
Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens, Lorenzo Taliaferro scores from 7 yards out. And yes, the extra point was good. And it's now 30-30 with 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Back to Andrew, Steve Tasker, and Steve Berline.
2 teams that desperately need a win right there. I mean, the Ravens, who would think that they would be in a dogfight with the Raiders in week 2 to get their first game. And, boy, what a big win that would be for the Raiders if they could pull it out.
So following the timeout, it's 3rd and 1. This half, Jacksonville is 1 for 5 on 3rd downs.
They're in 4-down territory here, though, possibly.
The defensive lineman, Alu in at fullback. It's Yeldon. Yeldon is stuffed. And Dominican Sue and Kelvin Shepard leading the charge, and it's 4th down.
Well, now losing 4 yards on the play. There's no way that Jacksonville can go for this one. You're seeing Dominican Sue ripping right through that line, finishing it off, but it truly was Kelvin Shepard that made that play, and Dominican Sue just finishing it off there at the end.
Great job by Miami defense. They sold out, got that run. Sue stuffed it up in the middle. Shepard did exactly the right thing. Scraped off to the outside of that gap and just met whatever was there.
Fifth straight punt for Jacksonville. 4th and 3. Anger kicking to Landry. Fair catch at the 7-yard line with 3:02 to go. Miami has all 3 timeouts. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the game between the Dolphins and the Jaguars. I'm Andrew Catalan with Steve Berline and Steve Tasker. We're tied at 20. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following the game, except on the West Coast.
When you sit here with 3:02 to go, Miami sitting there with 3 timeouts and really needing a field goal to take the lead. Jacksonville with 1 timeout and all their timeouts gone, self-inflicted. One with a bad challenge, the other with the to keep from getting a delay of game.
Miami's got to be careful here, though. Backed up in their own end of the field. You got to at least get 1 or 2 first downs.
Tannehill's hit. Ball is out. And Jason Fox fighting for it on the ground. Jared Odrick was the one who hit Tannehill. We're still waiting for a signal.
I'll tell you what, Fox did an outstanding job because this ball was bouncing in the end zone. If Jason Fox doesn't reach into the end zone and pull that out, it's a 2-point safety, and they got to give the ball back to Jacksonville.
Well, Fox is the one that gave up the sack. I mean, Tannehill's got to know better, though. You cannot sit there and hold the ball down there, but Fox gave up the sack. We'll see. It looked to me like, well.
Yeah, he pulled it out. He
pulled it back in.
Wow.
Yeah, he got it back in.
It's the former Dolphin, Odrick, who hit Tannehill, forced the fumble, and it's Miami football on the 1. What a play by Jason Fox. Tannehill's pass deflected and incomplete. Pusluzny was in the area, and it was Odrick again who made the play.
We can't glorify Jason Fox for doing a smart play there. He's given up a tip pass here and the sack that was almost disastrous. He's got to step up and start playing football to protect his quarterback, keep Odrick from making these plays.
Well, they've got a matchup on Jacksonville's side of the ball they like. You can bet Odrick's going to line up over the top of him again, or maybe now they're going to bring Odrick to this side, and they're putting Chris Clemens over on Fox. But this is an absolutely critical down. If I'm Miami, if it's not there, I tell Tannehill to get rid of it, but you got to give yourself some room to pump this ball out of there.
3rd and 17. Tannehill from his own end zone. Pass is caught by Stoneburner, but he is short of a first down. Pusluzny makes the tackle, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Jared Odrick, the former Dolphin, with some big plays for the Jags. They're going to get the ball back. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a rare look at Pope Francis, followed by a new Big Brother, Madam Secretary, and CSI Cyber, only CBS. A different punt returner here for Jacksonville. It's Nick Marshall, the former Auburn quarterback who made the team as a defensive back. Rashad Green not returning this one. Marshall from his 32. Marshall to the 40. And Marshall with a flag coming in is tackled at the 44-yard line.
If there's a penalty late on Jacksonville, that's going to drive Gus Bradley crazy because you got good field position with enough time on the clock, 1 timeout. If you made a mistake and give up another 10 yards right here, it's inexcusable. Especially late in the play like that. That flag came in very late.
John Parry, our referee today.
There's 2 fouls during the kick. Holding during the return, number 52. That penalty's been declined. Holding, return team number 55. During the kick will be enforced from the end of the kick, 10 yards, 1st and 10.
So both against the Jaguars, and that'll back them up with only 1 timeout remaining. Don't forget, coming up after the game, time permitting, it's the Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower will have all the latest NFL scores and highlights, including that update on Tony Romo. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. All right, 1st and 10 for Jacksonville from their own 24-yard line. They only have 1 timeout remaining.
Terrible penalty. That cost them 15 yards. Even though it was a 10-yard penalty, it's from the point.
It's from where he caught the punt rather than where the punt finished being returned.
Yeldon is next to Bortles. They'll throw on 1st down. Bortles over the middle. That pass is caught by Marquise Lee. It's good for a Jacksonville first down to the 42-yard line.
This drive is all about one thing: protect Bortles. He's shown the ability to find guys. They're getting some guys in with some separation. If Bortles can stay on his feet, they can move this football and get in position to win it.
And over the last since he got here last year, he's been very efficient in these 2-minute drills.
18-yard gain. Bortles back to the air, incomplete, threw it behind Mercedes Lewis. Jelani Jenkins on the coverage. Don't forget, we've talked about the rookie kicker for Miami, Andrew Franks. Jason Myers is a first-year kicker. The reason he's not a rookie is because he played in the Arena Football League for a while last year with San Jose and Arizona, but he is very much unproven as well.
Well, he did hit the long one at the end of the first half that was just over the upright from 58 yards.
We would say that's his range.
That would be his range.
2nd and 10. Bortles fires, and the catch by Allen Hurns. Bortles put that in a great spot, and Hurns makes the grab for 19.
And if he can make the same kick he did in the first half, they're in field goal range right now. And this is a fantastic throw and catch by two young players for Jacksonville.
Great job identifying the one-on-one coverage and a nice route, super catch and throw by Bortles and Hurns. Bortles has got to know right now, he is already technically in field goal range. He does not need to get greedy here.
I bring pressure if I'm Miami.
Bortles, quick pass. Hurns dropped it. 2 flags come in, though.
This might be a pick play.
Exactly right.
Yeah, they picked him on the outside. The receivers crossed and tried, and one of them got in the way of the defender and wouldn't allow him to proceed to cover.
What you're going to see when we come out after the call is a classic pick play, and a lot of times with young receivers, they don't know how to do that legally.
Yeah, you got to get him to run.
Pass interference, offense, number 11, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Now they're not in field goal range.
That's exactly right. They're out of field goal. You're going to see Marquise Lee right here. He's going to come down inside and pick off one of the defenders right there. You can't do that. You've got to attempt to make it look like you're not running into that guy. The flags are coming in from everywhere.
4th drop today by the Jaguars. They had 3 last week. The penalty backs them up to midfield. Bortles to Hurns again. He makes the catch to the 45 and out of bounds at the 42-yard line, forced out by Bryce McCain. 1:06 to go.
Yeah, if I'm Miami right now, I'll say it again, you got to pressure Bortles. He's the key to this whole thing. When he has time, he has the poise and the ability to extend the play. You've got to get in his face, make him throw the football away, or get him on his back. You can't let him get any more positive yards because you run the risk of losing the game right here.
It's a double-edged sword, though. They're not really in field goal range. They're maybe his maximum number, but if you give up a big play going man-to-man.
Yeldon to the 35. And now if you're Miami, you have to think about using your timeouts.
That was enormous. What are you doing? Olivier Vernon with a late two-handed chuck after the whistle was blown. That's a personal foul.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 50, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that is like handing him a chip shot.
That's complete lack of poise by Vernon. He got pushed late. Right at the whistle. He didn't like it.
Clay Harbor flopped.
It's always the retaliator that gets called in a situation like that.
Number 50 playing in his 50th NFL game today. He's got to have more poise than that.
Yeah, and then
for a veteran.
He's going to go sit down.
That's the 13th penalty for 112 yards against the Dolphins. And now Jacksonville all the way up to the 19-yard line with 59 seconds remaining.
Now we will see pressure from Miami.
Yeah, and Miami's going to start using their timeouts as well to save time.
Yeldon to the 15, and now Miami has to call timeout. They do. They have 2 remaining.
And now, right now, all you're thinking if you're the Jaguars on offense in that huddle, you're saying, listen, 2 hands on the football. Don't do anything silly. No penalties, no fumbles. Just get these plays down. We'll take positive yards if we can get it, but we cannot do anything to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Well, Joe Philbin, we mentioned this, since he's become head coach of Miami, they are the least penalized team in the NFL. And we asked Joe about that last night. He goes, guys, we bring referees to almost every practice. We watch the penalties we commit during practice in film, and we even go over the tendencies of each officiating crew to tell our team what they call the most. Joe Philbin preaches penalties and avoiding them, and they have done a terrible job today with 13 for over 112 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you can preach penalty avoidance, but you got to preach poise. And that was an unpoised play by Vernon.
2nd and 7 following the timeout. Back to T.J. Yeldon. He fumbled 10 times in college, but he gets up to the 9-yard line. Miami calls another timeout. That's very close to a first down. Miami stops the clock with 48 seconds remaining.
It's not going to be a first down, but I'll tell you what, you take a quarterback sneak on this next one. If you can get it, you're going to put this game away with an extra point or less than an extra point these days. You know, you talk about Gus Bradley wasting timeouts. I might waste one here to see if I can get that first down on a measurement on the spot of the replay, because if he challenges the spot and they move it forward and he gets the first down, he'll keep the timeout, plus the game will virtually be over in lieu of the chip shot.
Can't challenge inside 2 minutes.
I think they should review that spot. I mean, I thought Yeldon made it to the first down.
You would think it's being reviewed. If they need to look at it again, they'll call down.
Constantly calling for challenges inside the 2 minutes, and the coaches aren't able to do that. It drives me crazy.
Bernard Pierce in at running back on 3rd and 1. They give it to Pierce, and Pierce trying to push that pile forward. That's going to depend on the spot. That does look short. Spencer Pazinger, a former Giant, was in the backfield. Miami has called its final timeout. Let's take another look.
Almost at that point.
Yeah.
Miami doing whatever they can do to try and get that ball back.
And he didn't get that first down. No way.
I think he's short.
So Jason Myers, 23 years old, out of Marist College. Earlier today, kicked a 58-yard field goal. Also made a 27-yarder. But I'm fairly certain that when he played for the Red Foxes back in Poughkeepsie, he never faced a pressure kick quite like this one. Also keep in mind that last year, Miami blocked 5 kicks, 2 field goals last year. This is from 28 yards to give Jacksonville the lead with 43 seconds to go. Kick is on the way, and the kick is good. Jacksonville leads by 3. 40 seconds remain. Miami has no timeouts. Jacksonville felt confident enough before this season to trade veteran kicker Josh Scobie. On August 31st, they sent him to Pittsburgh for a 6th-round draft pick. They believed in young Jason Myers, undrafted out of Marist, played last year in the Arena Football League, and they're rewarded with this kick from 28 yards to give Jacksonville the lead.
And I can tell you, Andrew, walking around town the last couple days and talking to some of these local people and fans, that was one of the moves they were most upset about. Letting go of Josh Scobie, who's been his whole career here. I would venture to say that making that 58-yarder and that short one here to win the ball game or put them in control of the ball game might win some of these people over. Now 40 seconds left for Ryan Tannehill. More than enough time, even though they're out of timeouts, to get into field goal range. Do you think that 58-yarder, maybe the spot on that 58-yarder at the end of the first half?
We called it. I agree. It was a bad spot. It might have made the difference.
Mostert will take a knee. So no time comes off the clock. Miami will start at the 20. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a rare look at Pope Francis, followed by a new Big Brother, Madam Secretary, and CSI Cyber. It's only CBS.
So what we need out of Ryan Tannehill, his mentality is he's got to get at least 40 yards in 40 seconds. Got to get the ball to the 40-yard line of the Jaguars in order to have a chance at a field goal.
And he has to do it with no timeouts. Tannehill over the middle. Pass is caught by Landry, but he's spun down quickly by Telvin Smith. Again, Miami cannot stop the clock.
Well, you can't have he's clocking the ball here. Now, you cannot have a lot of those short gains over the middle of the field. Those will eat you away out of this ball game very, very quickly.
Yeah, they will. But if you got a guy like Landry, though, you're not afraid maybe to give him one of those early in this drive to maybe break a tackle and snap off a 25 or 30-yard run through that secondary, because the secondary is trying to cover the whole field and they're backing way off, keeping everything in front of them. So there is room underneath. And if you can get a guy to break one tackle, you will have a big play.
3rd down and 1, clearly 4-down territory, 26 seconds to go. Tannehill rolling left, and it's knocked down. Dan Scuda got his arms all over that one. It's 4th down.
Well, now your mentality is you got to find a way to obviously get the 1st down, then get up on the ball and evaluate the situation.
Yeah, even if you do, if you're Ryan Tannehill, you spread them out, you do another play just like the one you just did, and then if you can, scramble for that 1st down or dump it off and then line it up and spike it again.
4th down and 1. Tannehill fires, incomplete! Broken up by Telvin Smith.
Look right here at Landry right there. He's uncovered. If Tannehill wants to dump it to him, he can get 10 or 15 yards and get out of bounds. He's totally uncovered. Landry's very upset at the top. That's an awareness situation by Ryan Tannehill. That would have been an ideal place to go with that football. Easy throw and catch and out of bounds.
Well, yeah, and when you're in that spot, you don't think plays or play calls. You think players. And if I'm a Dolphin, Landry's the first guy I'm looking for.
Telvin Smith has incredible speed. The Jaguars rave about just how fast he is, and he closed quickly on that ball to break it up. And Jacksonville, which has lost 10 straight games in the month of September, finally comes through.
How big a win is this for Blake Bortles, Gus Bradley, and the Jacksonville Jaguars? Not only just to get the win, but the fashion that they did it, finally winning a close ball game at home.
Jacksonville's defense held Miami to 5 punts and 1 turnover on downs in the final 6 possessions. Credit to Gus Bradley and that Jaguars defense. They win it 23-20. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a rare look at Pope Francis, followed by a new big brother, Madam Secretary, and CSI Cyber. For Steve Tasker and Steve Berline, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from Jacksonville. You have been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. The Jaguars win 23-20.